Look who's back. Back in town. Yes, a little bit more tan than normal. Dave Orton resumes duty here on a fabulous Friday. We are still going through the Glorious Goodwood meeting. How has it been for you out there? I've missed you all. Tell me all about it. I'll have to catch up. Who's top jock at the moment? I'm assuming it's William Buick. All I keep hearing is he's on these favs, steering them successfully all the way. What sort of a punting week has it been? 2 great days left. 5 races coming your way this afternoon. Of course, we've got massive handicaps. It's the Golden Mile. We'll talk about the false rail being removed. You've got to be low in that. Wow, that's a feature race coming up. Hot pot favourite there again, that man Buick. And we'll be going to the sprinters off air at 4:10. Right. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, of course. Anything on Twitter, hashtag RP Live. And if you're on Facebook Live, get that chat going. It's interactive, as you well know. You make the show. Despite the fact I flew in last night at midnight with 2 children clinging to my ankles, I am on fabulous form. Like the man who joins me, Robbie Wilders.
Also on fabulous form, yeah. Some of us have tanned better than others on holiday.
You've been away, haven't you?
I've been to Mykonos, yeah. I'd probably recommend to any viewers.
It's a little bit like your tenure so far in the tipping department. Must do better, your tan.
What are you talking about? You're not going to get a browner set of forearms.
I saw you on your Boris bike enjoying a bit of lunch, mullet wafting in the wind.
Mullet? Yes. Tell you what, Mykonos is very windy. That's something you need to watch out for. My barnet almost flew off a couple of times.
Were you backing winners there? Have you backed winners this week?
No, I didn't actually watch any racing.
Do you get a total cut-off?
Yeah, I like to get away, mate, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's important to recharge, come back refreshed.
Yeah.
But back to a couple of nice ones this week, yeah.
All right, good stuff. And all right, let's hope for a couple of pearls from you then. And what we always want from you is what started big, what's gone low, basically, in anti-post markets. So I'm going to come for it. The anti-postman's there. Now, no Natalie Green today. We're given a well-deserved day off. She's just having relaxed. What a sterling job Nat did the first 3 days. She said to me, Dave, can you come on back, please? I need a break. I said, Nat, don't worry, smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. But we do have some glamour still on the panel. I'm delighted to tell you, because pressing the buttons as successfully as you do for Betfair is Kate Tracey.
Yeah, great to be back. We've all been comparing tans there first.
You're the winner.
I thought I was pretty
You win the
tanned
freckles. The freckles match.
No, we're competing on the freckles, aren't we? We're a pair of
I
human
think you
Dr.
win that
Dots
just
right
about.
now. But yeah, so we're all looking very healthy at least today, aren't we?
I was looking very red yesterday, trust me, but we're not in nice air-conditioned studio. How's the week gone so far? Now, you've been busy as ever during this week. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I want the viewers to tell me what's been going on. I've missed out a little bit. Of course, I saw, the Goodwood Cup. That was the race of the week, probably. We all had our opinions on Boyd, how that split opinions again. Apparently, if you're on the track, very muted applause coming back in. You've been watching it all, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I haven't missed a beat, really, from this week, which has just been fantastic to see. The Goodwood Cup, one of the best horse races we've seen in a long time. It was unbelievable. The amount that we had going into the race beforehand with the jockey switch-ups, the tactics throughout the race. We had all of the right 4 horses then fighting out the finish. Of course, you have the potential hard luck story of Stradivarius, but I thought that was just a wonderful race. And now bring on York for Stradivarius. Don't think the 3 of them will ever meet again, Kyprios, Stradivarius or Trushan, but we got what we wanted. Baid, I'm massively in his camp still think he's wonderful. Don't care what G-Rod says. And
no one does.
No one does. And then we've potentially seen the St. Ledger winner as well yesterday. So yeah, cracking week so far. Punting perspective, hit and miss.
Now, because we were in together last Saturday, it was a tricky one with G-Rod. Do you remember we were naught from? I think you had the one winner or whatever. It was really, really tough. The man who we're about to beam into in Dublin also had a shocker. There was a duck egg next to his name. But I hear, Barry Orr, things have been going rather well again this week.
Yeah, the wheels have been back on yesterday anyway. We had a good day, did things right. I think the only thing I did wrong really was lay New London, and it was just a price thing really. But no, made a couple of big calls. Nice couple of winners yesterday, 14-1 chance and a 5-1 chance, or 9-2 chance. My Nap won the first race yesterday, Warren Point. I think he's going to go on to bigger and better things. You can mark him up for that short head win yesterday.
Now, I know you have your magpies and you're lucky out there. So Nat's brought you the first 3 days of loads of winners. I'm Batman. You're in white, I'm in black. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to be agreeing with each other. Don't blame me if it all goes wrong today.
It's yin and yang, Dave, yin and yang. I heard you talking to who's the leading jockey. Well, there's no doubt there. You guessed it, William Buick. He's on 5. Ryan Moore is on 2. And he's had a load of place winners as well, William Buick. He's absolutely on fire. And I think one of the things about this meeting is the way, like this season, I suppose, the way Charlie Appleby is using handicaps for some of his better horses to graduate them into into listed and group class, which is interesting to see. We saw it yesterday with New London. We could see another one of them today as well. So that's been a feature. But word of warning to punters today now, there's no cutaway today or tomorrow. That's gone. And that's been a significant feature for the first 3 days of the festival. There hasn't been as much carnage as you would usually associate with Goodwood. There has been plenty of hard luck stories, don't get me wrong, but cutaway's been a big help. There's no cutaway for the next 2 days.
I'm thrilled to hear that because I love a show with plenty of carnage, in-running carnage. Of course, we're with Betfair along the way. There's the market. If you're new to the screen, that's the real market. All right, the exchange. In-running, you can see as this is going. Real-time analysis and reaction, that's what you get here. Loads of tips. Let's hope for some winners along the way. It polarises opinion, I think, this week, doesn't it? It's not like you can't stand sprints, so you don't tend to back
Yeah,
them.
not interested.
So, but Goodwood is like that for a lot of people. A lot of people are happy to go on holiday this week, because of the carnage in running you can find. And again, it's the Golden Mile. It becomes like Chester, that mile race, all of a sudden, doesn't it? That's, of course, the 3:35, isn't it? Or no, it's before that, the 3:10 or whatever it is. 3 o'clock even.
Yeah.
Get it right, Dave. And only one horse in the last 10 years has been drawn higher than 9, basically. So we will see. Let me know if you like Goodwood or not. I mean, we've seen the best horse in the world. There's no doubt about that. I've seen lots of chat about that coming through. Lots of dinging and donging kept coming up on my phone while I was trying to enjoy the beach. And once again, same old story, isn't it, Baid, basically? What do you make of him? We're hearing that Desert Crown might now be out for the season. Something you're probably seeing breaking on the airwaves out there. Racing Post done a story about it already. We thought on Saturday that we had a little understanding that might be the case, didn't it?
Yeah, we kind of got a hint at that, but then we had also heard word that he was being cited back then for the Champion Stakes. So it is disappointing now that the ARC bid is potentially out of the question as well. And like you say, we kind of got sort of a heads up then last Saturday that might be the case, that he'll be out for the season. So hugely disappointing. This classic generation for me is just falling apart week by week at the minute.
Yeah, we said after his Derby win that holding him together might be the pieces is, of course, a Desert Crown, so Michael Stout's Worldie that we're talking about. But the reason why more Baid links, because we think he's going to go to the International next. Barry, let's come to you. We think it's now going to be confirmed shortly, if it hasn't been, that we're not going to see him as a 3-year-old again, unfortunately, Desert Crown. That's going to have ramifications, isn't it, on lots of anti-post markets, starting with the International?
Not really, because obviously it's kind of been factored in the price, insofar as there was really bad word around Desert Crown. I think we spoke about it on Tuesday on the show, and I thought that we weren't going to see him for the rest of the season. So Baid was 4-7 off the back of his win. We didn't change him off the back of his win in the Sussex, and he's 1-2 now. So just a small little correction in the market there off the back of Desert Crown. Awaiting confirmation of that news, but it looks virtually certain.
Yeah, they're falling by the wayside, aren't they, Baid's opponents? I mean, he's got a bit of the winks about him. I said to you that to you this morning.
Yeah, you did. Good shout, mate.
You can only beat what's there in front of you, and he's doing them all.
To be fair, Rodgers did say, would he have beaten X Celebration?
All this Frankel, Winks was compared to Frankel as well. But look, loads of time in between races. Let's get to our first race. It's the 150. Yeah. It's a marathon, like this week has been. But don't worry, we're going to turn up the heat now. And let's get this lucky 15 under the way, shall we, Barry?
Yeah, let's do the lucky 15. I think you have it populated there, Kate. In the 150, it's Withhold, second to Call the Wind last year. And I'm hoping that he's a 9-year-old. He's no secrets from the handicapper, but I think this is not as good a renewal as last year, so hopefully he can go well. And the 225 Ratchigani is the German horse, real good form with Mal June, who was just very unlucky in the St. James's Palace. In the 3 o'clock, that Golden Mile, 6 places on the Betfair Sportsbook. Eileen Dove's my selection there. And then our last leg is in the 3:35, the sprint, Lazuli. We're going to do that for £1. It's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 singles, 15 bets. We're going to do it for £1 each way, so it's going to cost us £30. So fingers crossed for that. We can get a couple of winners in it. In the first race here, Super Jack is your favourite. There's 5 places to each way punters on the Betfair Sportsbook in the first race. Super Jack was 10th to 1 when we first went up with the race. I was giving it a bit of a chance. Milton Harris's yard is going so well, but I'm not sure that he's going to get the trip. And I just think at the price, he's really, really short now. So I'm going to take him on, Kate. We're going to take £25 at the backer stake. He's currently 4.8. We can lay him at. So if you click on that 4.8 and populate the bet box, the backer stake, we're going to take £25 out of it. So we have a liability of about £50 and just place that bet for us, please. We're betting the field here. We've everything bar Super Jack winning us 25 quid.
Like that, Barry. Look at that. Barry's lucky 15. Look, there we go. Look, so there you are. Withhold. He's still got. I'm going to have a debate with him about this. I'm amazed you're going back in for that one. This is becoming like a tattoo for you, Barry. This horse. The German horse, of course, in the second race. Roscigiani, I probably got that right. Eileen Dube, I definitely got right. And Lazuli, who does look slightly overpriced because he's so uncomplicated for Godolphin. That is in our feature sprint, of course. No Batage this year. What do you make of the sprinters out there? Let's hear from you. Let's open up the floor then. There is Barry's lucky 15. If you would like to get involved. Now, you're laying the favourite here, Barry, in the 150, but you are going back in with Withhold. Now, what's that all about, man?
Yeah, well, there's 5 places on the sports book, and Withhold, I backed up Withhold in this last year, and he had ran in the same race beforehand in Newbury, so everything is gearing towards here. I just think he will have come on significantly for his first 2 runs because he's a 9-year-old now. Now, he folded quite tamely in that race in Newbury this time round, but still he was only beaten 5 lengths. It was in a first-time visor. They're keeping the visor on, which is interesting for my money. He knows his way around here for sure. He's ran in this race plenty. I think he won it a couple of years ago as well. So he's a horse that we know will stay. We know he's going to be up at the pace and out of trouble. And there's not many who you can put your hand on heart and say that are lining up here today. So, you know, he's a decent enough price. He's a really good place bet for my money. And hopefully he can get us off the winning start. We look at 15.
Well, you got the luck about you. So if you want a bit of Barry shine, then you'll be going with William Buick to get him. This is the first time Buick's ridden this chap. I was just looking down at that. It was quite interesting, isn't it? He's gone on. You would just always think with Withhold because of the connections and because of when they landed that huge punt in the Cesarewitz that there's another day in this horse. It polarised opinion a little bit on this show, viewers, if you were watching that day at Newbury. And I was like, is he just packing it in a little bit? Like, it might be Charlie Post who was with us. I can't remember. He said, no, I think he's still trying there, you know. I said, well, that you know, case means that he's on the downgrade. He's £2 lower, of course, when he was in last year. No starting stalls here. Yeah,
that's always crucial, isn't it? Because, I mean, they become strung out very quickly here. I want to be on a front runner, really. I mean, do you remember a few years ago when D'Souza was on board Lil Rockefeller?
Oh, yes.
And he just completely dominated at 15 lengths.
I'm glad you mentioned him.
Yeah.
He's a 7-year-old in the race, so old boys can do this, but he's the only winning fav in the last 10 years. Right or gamble that. And do you remember D'Souza just tore off, didn't he?
Yeah, it was crazy, yeah.
Who are you going for then?
I want 2 front runners.
All right.
I want Hydroplane ridden by D'Souza again. Obviously, he knows exactly what it takes.
He was on my shortlist?
Yeah, I'm glad to hear. I mean, he's only running 4 staying races. I love Ian Williams with these stayers. Yeah. He was impressive at Chess last time, winning by 6 lengths. He's gone up £6, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough to start. I think he's still quite well handicapped off 82.
Since he put the cheek pieces on,
exactly. The pieces are back on.
Yeah.
And the other one was Sea Appeal, equally unexposed 4-year-old. One from the front last time at Chelmsford. That looked quite a decent little race for the grade. He's up £3 again.
He's a resolute gallop for this bloke, isn't he?
Ballymore connections have bought into him.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Of course, because I think he's had loads of owners, this chap, hasn't he? Started off in Ireland.
Yeah, he was in Ireland. This is only his 4th run for Hughes, but his last 2 have been his best of his life.
Hughesy won this last year, Calling in the Wind, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think they're 2. I'm surprised they're both double figures.
Kate, it's a good time to bring you in. Are you surprised there are not more sort of dual-purpose horses here?
Yeah, because that's what we normally get, and that tends to be sort of where we get some of these surprise results from then in this race, is those sort of dual-purpose horses that have been at a certain standard in staying hurdles, and then they sort of almost use this as kind of a default sort of thing to come back and show, we'll see if we can stay 2.5 miles then on the flat. But we haven't really got that this year, which is interesting. I mean, if you're being harsh, I mean, you could sort of say that about Zoffy, to be fair, but I still think he had... Yeah, he wasn't the greatest of jumpers, was he, over obstacles, to be fair.
I was looking for them, and he would be the one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would be probably the one. And that's why I kind of have a concern, though, about Zoffy over this trip, because for me, he was a 2-miler when he was running over jumps. So trying to extend now to the 2-mile 4 on the flat is a whole different entity, and I'm not entirely sure he'll get the trip.
There's a great link here. Now, Barry loves you, and he loves you pressing the buttons for him. You've got a bit of luck for him, but right now you're going to be the villain, right? Because you're putting up Super Jack.
Sorry, Barry.
All the Aston Villa fans.
Going against you.
You've turned into a villain, Kate Tracey.
No,
or a City fan nowadays.
I think he's a remarkably consistent horse. You know, when you look at his record on the turf, it's unbelievable. I think he's 14 runs on the turf, 5 wins, 5 seconds, and once he was 3rd. That's remarkable out of 14. So he is but it's just the price. Like, for me, he's an 8 or 10 to 1 chance.
See, that's why Barry is in the chair that he is, though, because he sees price and he sees value. I just try and play it simple because I'm a simple human being. Hence why I'm siding with him, regardless of the price then. And I really like Super Jack here. He's just taken his form up to a whole nother level this season, winning over 2 miles twice in the spring. I think he should really be coming here on the back of 4 wins. I think he was so unlucky at York. He just had the door shut in his face multiple times there, still did well to finish second. And last time out, dropping back down to the mile 6. Wasn't entirely sure it was going to suit. Don't think it really did suit. And again, he ran into trouble and he was staying on to only be beaten by a narrow margin as well into third. So for me, I think he's been crying out for this marathon trip and comes here obviously in very good order as well. He is a hold-up performer. Slightly concerned because you do need to ride your luck with this horse, but I still think he's very well treated in the context of this race.
I can't remember the last time I backed the winner of this race, which will probably give you some confidence if you're weighing in with me right now.
Law of averages means...
Well, law of averages.
It's due, mate.
And unfortunately, if you're a Mellow Magic fan, I've put the pin on him. And I very nearly went for Hydroplane. I very nearly went for Sea of Appeal, but I came down on Mellow Magic, who was touched off at Chester last time. He was last horse off the bridle around Chester, over 2 miles. And this horse has never been out of the frame in his life. So he is definitely the model of consistency, which means that on the 3 runs that he's had at Goodwood, he's handled the track fine here. Go back to when he was third to Zoffy in the consolation race for the Northumberland Plate. Watch that in your members club on the replays. You've got time because the outside of the lot here, so far so good. And Alec Wojcicki is being walked down to post at the moment. So we've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, why is that?
I'm not sure.
Get a move on, mate.
Kate, why is this that he's being walked to post, do you think?
Oh, I'd say I didn't see beforehand, but I'd say he must have been playing up coming out to the chute, must he? And it's a bit different. We had that horse that refused in this race a few years ago. Can't remember the name of it. Wasn't it
Just Hubert.
Rockefeller? Yes. Just Hubert, who had his own ideas then about the start of this race. And for these horses, it is a bit confusing. The horses that have only raced on the flat so far, not having the stalls, and it's all sort of in front of the crowds as well. And for the first race...
Is this the only race in England, Kate, that's not flat race in England that's not started with stalls?
There's one at Pontefract.
And
one at Ponty as well.
Salisbury don't have starting
stalls.
Salisbury.
Sorry, what am I saying? Pontefract. Because
over the longer distances.
What's his face? Quickthorn went to run out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Quickthorn got left behind, didn't he? He got stuck in
the chute. Was it him? I need to double check this now.
Berkshire Rocco.
Yeah, that was it. But yeah, sorry, Salisbury, not Pontefract. Salisbury. It's always a small runner affair because they have to go around and come back around, and they don't have stalls for that. But that led to that incident where he got stuck in the gap there. But I'll just double check it was him. I think
is it Tremor in Ireland are the only ones, Barry, that don't have starting stalls on the flat sometimes? Is that right, Tremor?
No, they've starting stalls in Tremor.
There is a track, isn't there? I think there is a track where they don't, really?
Yeah, it was Quickthorn. Sorry, yeah, it was Quickthorn.
Used to be down Royal, they didn't have them, but they do now. The only way would stop them if the ground got too heavy and they weren't able to manoeuvre to starting stalls. Then sometimes...
that was chaos that day.
They'd start from a flag start, but all the tracks, there's a company that travels around all the race courses in Ireland and supplies starting stalls for flat meetings.
And they can get to Tremor. All right, OK, fair enough. OK, so it's quite interesting, therefore, that Super Jack sort of prepped for this at Salisbury without starting stalls, potentially. Milton Harris might just know what he's doing. But he looks like he's on the slide, to my eye, the fav that you're laying, Barry, in the first.
Yeah, interestingly, we laid him at 4.8 and he's out to 6 now. So we could lock in a profit on the Betfair Exchange here of £5, and regardless what wins the race, we'd win a fiver. It's obviously the market's gone in our favour, which would allow us to do that, but I'm happy enough to leave it as it is. Zoffy, some money for that, 7.8. Withhold is actually quite strong at 7.2. I wonder, is his owner having a little tickle? 8.2 Rashun, 8.6 Mellow Magic, and it's 12 Hydroplane for D'Souza. That's come in for a little bit of support as well. That might be Robbie's money.
Well, very unlikely. I noticed yesterday, Barry, I tuned in for a bit yesterday as I was sort of in transit, and the Johnson horse, whose name is it, Illuminous something, drifted all the way out, and you feel beaten before you're on. Whenever you see a Tony Bloom horse that's attracting support, or certainly this horse being solid in the market, just gets you a little bit more confidence.
This is definitely a gamble now.
It helps.
It
helps.
All right.
Especially on sports books as well. This is for sure a gamble. So if you're on him at 10 to 1 or so, then I'd be rubbing my hands. To be honest.
We just keep saying the day is still out there.
Could be the day. I thought he had too much. A 9-year-old off 103, but I mean horses win. Keep winning off big weights in handicaps.
Well, how many horses, in their career, young or old, would have charted the career he has? Not a lot in this race. So Mellow Magic for me, I just think he keeps on grinding, and I think if he sits 5th or 6th, I'll be very happy turning in anyway. Like we say, there's no cutaway today, as Barry mentioned. Go on, Barry.
Dave, one of our contributors on the social, Vincent, is right. Laytown doesn't use starting stalls 100% in Ireland. Yeah. My apologies. Because, again, it's the ground. They couldn't get them out onto the sand. They'd never get them back.
Thank you, Vincent. I may have been on the limoncellos this week, but the old grey noggin will start warming up.
I quite like to go to Laytown, actually. That looks quite good.
Yeah, are they racing at Laytown this year, Barry, or is it not on?
Yes, they are.
At Laytown, don't they?
September, I think. Late September.
There was some news about Laytown.
I thought they do use stalls at Laytown.
Do they use stalls?
Yeah, I had it in my head they do. I've just Googled image it and I found loads of images anyway.
How do you have time to Google image Laytown?
Because I had it in my head. I was like, I swear they use stalls.
You're a
there.
machine, you are, Tracey. It's ridiculous.
Not all the races.
Yeah, potentially not in all of them.
I couldn't imagine a sprint.
I don't think they do.
You couldn't imagine a sprint without stalls, could you?
I've come back and I've caused carnage before we've even had a race. We're watching Goodwood, the first race. They're all sort of walking around these big old lazy stayers. What a great crowd turnout it's been. That's been one positive news story of the week, Rob, isn't it?
A lot of people have been going, have they?
Yeah, there has.
Well, yeah, good luck to them. Weather's nice. Good day out. I've been to Goa. I quite enjoyed it, actually. It's
God's
very
race,
hard
of course, they
very
call
hard
it.
to get to from London, but
It's a little
Hard
bit
to get
tricky
you from
to
everywhere, isn't it? It's so far away.
I mean, when you are there and the sun is shining, God's race course absolutely right. You know, it's marvellous.
yeah, big fan, mate.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right, Kate.
They
That's
do
something
have
I
them,
had
do
in my
they?
head, and so I just had to
Vincent,
Google
you had a
images.
Looking at them
shocker?
there, yeah. They used to have them, that's for sure. I know that for a fact. They used to not have them. That might be.
I'm absolutely
couple of
sure
years.
there's a
They just
track
leave the stalls
somewhere.
there all year
There's
round.
just
They don't
certain
have to-
races that don't have them. Like there's like race at the Curragh that don't have them occasionally, or Leopardstown.
Well, look, they certainly haven't got starting stalls here. Okay.
Not in the flat.
Look, again, all right. So this is now going to set the racing world alive. I can tell that. But look, great to have you for just joining us. Dave Orton back in town with Robbie Wilders, Kate Tracey, who's back tomorrow. Kate, aren't you? With Nat?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
going to be a super Saturday. We've got the Stewards Cup still to come. We've seen some great racing so far. What was your highlight? Was it Kipros? Was it Boy? Was it something else? Have we seen any future stars? Did we see the St Ledger win? I know you've all been talking about it, but I need to catch up. So now's a good time to do so. Plenty of chat in between the races. We want to hear from you. I'm sure we'll get that up soon. There's a reminder of Barry's Lucky 15. Look, the dream is alive. Let's just have a word about charity, Barry, because it dwindled somewhat after a Saturday, which we all found tricky. In fact, I know loads of punters, funnily enough, Barry, after Saturday that went, this flat season is taking, you know, I just can't get the bit between my teeth. However, I think Greatwood Charity are going to be rather pleased after your efforts so far this week.
Yeah, Great Woods, our charity this time round, Dave. Yeah, I think we're winning a few quid. I haven't got the P&L just yet because but I'll do it up for tomorrow.
Great stuff. So if you're having a great
Quite a
week,
messy start.
maybe show them a bit of love. But we are indeed up and running, and away we go. And look, there are no starting stalls. We expect to see them spread out, as Rob said nicely. They want the Cantos, Solent Getaways up there, mine, Mellow horses up there as well for the Baldings. Mellow Magic. What else have we got? Yeah, there's Withhold, look, on the outside. This is quite interesting. Make My Day in the Goshen colours. There was a little bit of support for that for Gary Moore. I think we kind of call him a dual purpose horse, can't we? Awash with Sweat. Zoffy up there as well. Now, the interesting thing, Rob, I can hear you umming and ahhing.
Yeah,
Your two front runners are not there.
It's not panned out quite as I anticipated.
But listen, don't panic. There's a lot of these horses haven't been over the extra 4 furlongs, of course, so you're allowed.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they've not got bad positions. They are very well strung out, but yeah, I'm quite happy being sort of 5 or 6 off.
I'm trying to look for what's
Mellow
right
Magic
at the back.
very hard.
Yeah, I'm not happy to see that,
Very,
Barry.
very hard.
I think you enjoyed saying that. I could tell you
No,
know
I
I'm
didn't.
on this.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we always say that when we're on this show.
We've lost one. We've
Oh,
lost.
one's
Whoa,
right.
yeah.
Hang on a minute, what's going on here?
That's number 15.
Are so good, maybe, because
Oh,
his
no, that was the one that was walked to post.
Oh no, so far so
no,
good.
Alec Vakonski has had
What
an...
are so good. I can't see his colours.
It is so far so
Yeah.
good. He's gone. You're right. That was the one that told us up. Been walked to post.
I
What?
wonder how his saddle slipped beforehand. Is that why they?
We are about
they
to
then had
find
to
out,
invest.
that's for sure, because, of course, look, it was the outside of the lot, but you know what it's like, Barry. People go on and have 2 quids and fivers on everything, don't they? So there will be an inquest with this. Interesting to see that Rashoon, the Royal Ascot
lighting up
went up,
Mellow Magic.
and the Newbury winner last time, of course, ahead of Withhold, he's really tanking his rider's arms out. Hydroplane doesn't like being held up, does he?
Nah, he's not enjoying himself. He's a little bit keen. I'd maybe throw a ticket away.
Yeah, all right, we're about to go around this.
I'll keep the Richard Hughes one, though.
Yeah,
Like the way
he's
he's
going
going.
really well at the moment. Before we go to Kate and Barry, let's come to you for a market update. We've got our positions now. We know where we're going. What does the exchange like most?
Yeah, so Super Jack still favourite just with withhold. 6.2 withhold is actually gone clear favourite. 7.2 Mellow Magic despite that pulling like that. 11 Hydroplane, 9 Zoffy, 5.9 now withhold, 7.4 Rashun. All the fancied ones at the head of the market are kind of still hovering around their Betfair SP.
Well, if you're on Jackie Grealish, like Kate Traylish, Kate Traylish?
Kate Traylish.
Like Kate Tracey is stylishly being handled at the moment. I'm looking for a Cruyff turn somewhere along the line, Kate. No. You must be getting a little bit happy with how he's travelling.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way he's ridden. He's held up in rear, hence why he manages to get into a bit of trouble as he has done the last twice. And that is a bit of a concern then at Goodwood with the fact that now that the rail has been moved in, it's a tighter track. The better ground is now on the inside without that cutaway. So he's going to have to probably come wider, probably on the worst part of a track. I knew that though beforehand. Still think he can defy that anyway. He is keen enough, but it's what we tend to expect from him. A few of these have been keen though throughout, with Hold doing a masterful job then of getting to the front and setting up the pace under William Buick.
Yeah, William Buick was not happy basically with Solent Getaway, basically getting an easy one, and he has gone to the front now. And you know what Withold's going to do, he just keeps on going. This is our winner. Not over as long as this, of course.
Bit of a move from Buick here, is there?
Yeah, he's kicking on now, Baron. He's got the loose horse for company, interestingly. So Solent Getaway. So here we go on this famous bend down, and it's not been as sharp as this. No cutaway, so we'll see what comes down the outside. Looking
staying
really
up
good.
The middle, Buick.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, he is. Author's Dream's catching my eye. Master Milliner, of course, for Emma Lavelle.
This loose horse can get in the way here.
Jack being pushed along.
Now, Super Jack is just realising that this move has gone. Barry, what are we saying with about 3 furlongs to run?
Yeah, 5.5 Super Jack, same Zoffy. He travels well. Mellow Magic 4.9 despite pulling. Withhold's gone.
Yeah, Withhold is absolutely falling in a hole, I think, isn't he? Now, these
Your
are the
Mellow
two
Magic.
all-weather horses. I tell you what, loose horses. This so far so good. Is that so far so bad, isn't it? For him, it's caused all sorts of problems here.
Hydroplane's not out of this
It
either.
is Zoffy at the moment. Hydroplane is coming, Rob. Now, here comes the
he's
favourite.
coming.
Miller
Jack.
5's on.
Can the favourite hit the net?
Will
Master
Zoffy
Milliner
stay?
then.
Will he stay? Come on, Super Jack.
For Emma
keep
Lavelle,
staying.
Sean Levy sensing it. I'll tell you
If
what,
he wins
yeah,
again,
absolutely.
this
Looks like he's
Master
got
Milliner.
this, doesn't it? The Fav is coming, though, hard. I think he's going to be outstayed on the inside. Master Milliner hasn't got 102. Look, the market suggests it's got it. He's tying up a little bit towards the end. Author's Dream is so far so good coming.
Barry, I know
false
Barry,
hope.
tease me.
I'll tell you what, that was Jack Grealish's career in a run then, wasn't it, I think? We can say we're so far so good. He's in front just after the line as well. Well done to Emma Lavelle. We've had him in this studio on feature shows, loads. He's won at the course before. She's one of the good girls out there, Emma is. And Barry, he was a winner on the all-weather last time. Jumps horse, wins the race.
SP at 22. He traded at a high on the Betfair Exchange of 28, so not much above his Betfair SP. The runner-up obviously looked like he kind of he rolled into the far side when he pulled his whip through into his left hand. He hit a low of 3.75, which is 11-4. But once he got him gathered. He's probably an unlucky loser, you'd have to say, the runner-up. I'm probably very lucky to collect our stake there. But yeah, nice ride from Sean Levy.
Just kept it simple, didn't he? And went to the inside. A couple of horses in races that I've seen. Dreamloper in particular yesterday in the Nassau. I wonder whether the inside was the place to be. And it's interesting that you said that William has been coming down the middle there. All right, the marathon is said and done. It goes to a jumps trainer, that's for sure. So far, so good. We lost at some point. It caused loads of havoc. We can now see the replay. This is obviously very early on, Rob. Oh, yeah, saddle.
I was at the saddle.
Stirrup must have broken or something.
It looked like he just
He
chopped
didn't
himself
jink or
off.
clip heels or anything, but that's the last thing people out there need as an excuse for on Twitter.
He definitely didn't chuck himself off.
Yeah,
just
why
let
would
know.
you? It's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, he looks really gutted at the young lad. Look, he was really depleted coming back in. He had to walk it all the way down. It's probably his only ride of the day. But Sean Levy, the
looks
classic
knackered
winning
there,
jockey,
doesn't he?
gets it done.
Never seen a jockey look so out of breath after a
They
race.
never go. They never go this
2
far.
mile 4 on a...
No, but I'm
used
just
to
saying. I'm just saying it's unusual.
You even on a Boris bike would struggle to get that trip.
Well,
wouldn't you?
don't criticise me, man. I did 12-mile cycle the other day, so
Did
I'm
anyone
doing
see
too
it?
bad.
All right, OK, we're off and running. And, yeah, the lay's gone in, Barry. Fair play. I mean, we'll watch the finish now. It was only 3 horses in it, wasn't it, for a long way. The 2 old rivals. Mellow Magic was far too keen. Zoffy just hasn't quite seen it out. Arabesca's coming for the back. But Author's Dreams run really well, and that is going to give some confidence to the favourites backers in the next race. Check and challenge. So William Knight, second in the first race. Will he go one better in our first group race of the day at 2:25? We'll get to that shortly. But a really weird spectacle that was a little bit, isn't it? Super Jack then. Got the trip fine.
Yep.
Yeah, again, keep backing him all the way to the Cesarewitch now, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, exactly. I mean, what was he running off of again there? Because we obviously 82. Yeah, I mean,
you can get in.
He'll get in on
Cesarewitch off.
that.
It's weird. There's so many runners that you can actually get in.
But you can actually still manage to get in because there is that many. But we've also got the Sky Bet handicap, the 0 to 105 contest. That's mid-August at York, isn't it? So that's back over the 2 miles again. I don't think the 2 mile trip would obviously hinder him by any means. Certainly wouldn't if Master Milliner wanted to go for that as well. He won that off of a marker 93, so you'd imagine he'll still be able to get into that handicap then at York. So we've got a couple of options there, or you could wait then for the Cesarewitch or go to both then ultimately. Like you say, you've got every chance of getting into that off of the pair of those marks. But yeah, trips for the pair of those two, definitely very feasible. It's just, you know what you're getting with Super Jack. He's going to be ridden further back. He's going to come there with a late run, try not to get into trouble, and he'll be staying on best of all at the line. So he's always going to be bang there. It is just frustrating when he's in front past the line.
Yeah, very frustrating. But I guess a lot of people would have backed him each way, so fair play if you were on that. One race down then on this fabulous Friday. We've got 2 more races to bring you here on RP Live, of course, with Betfair on the way this year. Every Saturday we come to you, all being well. We've got the Shergar Cup next week. Of course, we'll be covering York. It's all going on, isn't it, all the way up. And then, believe it or not, the jumpers come out. Now, there's banger racing today. And this banger card used to be the old start of the jump season.
Is that true?
Really?
How far back we're going?
This? Yeah.
I mean, I'm slightly older than I look, believe it or not. And I remember these things.
That's how old you are.
No.
He used to be at Market
Do you want
Place.
to take a guess?
Do you want to just type it out? How old's Dave Orton?
Go on,
I was
Dave
born in
Orton.
1976, which makes me 46, isn't it? So
46.
I know.
If you give me
It's
the
a
answer
surprise,
already.
isn't it? You look a bit older than you are, actually, probably.
How old do you think I
I
look?
don't know, it's the glasses and the beard, I think.
Take them off
doesn't
then.
it? You can do that if you
What
like.
now?
Well, now it's thrown us completely.
You certainly need to start acting with a bit more maturity, that's for sure. I won't ask Kate how old she is. But yeah, this used to be the start of the jump season, and Emma Lavelle wins the first race on Friday, who's a jumps trainer, of course. But she does do very well with her flat runners as well. I'm a little bit surprised that some more trainers don't target this. I don't know. It's holiday season.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Willie Mullins chuck a couple over, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Would it
Galway,
actually?
Barry.
Probably not.
Let's chat about that. How's it been going so far? I've hardly seen a thing at Galway this week.
Galway, hasn't. I suppose the kind of stories around Galway have been cheaply bought horses who have been pots. We had Hewick, who had won the Bet365 Gold Cup Day.
Yeah.
We covered it on this show. He won the Galway Plate, bought for 850 quid. And on the Monday, we had a horse that was bought for 12k out of Dermot Wells' yard, trained by a man who has a restricted license. So he's only allowed to train 4 horses. He's only 2 in at the moment. And won a pot of 120k.
Wow.
Obviously, that was a nice win for him. Actually, the trainer used to work for Moyglair, so he knows the family, obviously, of the bloodlines of those Moyglair horses. So he wasn't buying it on the blind out of Dermot Well. It was a well-marked card, I'd say. But Colin Keane rode the winner for him. So there's been some great stories down there. Dominant Willie Mullins, as ever. Patrick rode the Connacht Hotel Qualifier Riders winner for the first time on Monday as well. So been a good day, a good week for the Mullins family so far. Plenty more to come.
Kel Surprise, yeah. Dermot's had one winner, hasn't he, so far? And she looked quite tasty, didn't she, in the maiden? In fact, she looked really good.
Yeah, she was an Aga Khan filly, wasn't she? She looked really smart.
Yeah, Tanawa's sister, isn't it, who beat a well-fancied,
Yeah.
I mean, easily beat a well-fancied O'Brien or Dower House. Tahira, I suppose there was all sorts of Guineas quotes coming for her, were there?
No, we didn't, funny enough. No, we did. We introduced her in the Guineas at 33 to 1.
Let's have a look down. I'm just reading. Yeah, she's got to be group material, that, hasn't she? But yeah, I mean, he was just touched off by a nose last night on Pale Moonlight. Looking at it, we associate.
Your man trained the winner yesterday of the hurl.
Who?
Tony Martin.
Tony Martin.
Oh yes,
Some man
yes.
for the
How did
handicap,
that win?
kind of.
Tudor City.
Previous
I
winner of the
know.
race. Good
Honestly.
story there. Previous winner of the race, and the guy
Yeah.
that rode it, Liam McKenna, it was his first ride back
Yeah.
after breaking his collarbone in the Irish Grand National on Ronald Pump. He fell at the last in the Irish Grand National on Ronald Pump.
Is that
broke
why
his
he
collarbone.
was out for so long? I wondered.
You forget
I
these
didn't
things.
know why
don't you,
he
when
was
you're in
out
the
for
He
middle of
so
the
fractured
season.
it in 9 places or something. Like, it was
God.
a really bad. Usually a collarbone, they might 3-4 weeks they'd be back, but it was a particularly damaging injury. But that was his first ride back in public, and he rode the winner of the Galway Hurl, which was extraordinary, really extraordinary that he even got the ride.
That's a great thing about at a Galway Festival, 7 days, and to have that much racing in 7 days. Obviously, some of the races not going to be moderate. I wouldn't call them moderate. But it's not. They're not feature races. But the stories that come out of it are absolutely superb, and of course that goes through till tomorrow as well. Let us know how you've been getting on there. Let's get some social interaction up, guys, in the gallery. I've not seen anyone come up yet. Let's see who's going to fancy something on our next race. It is the 225. There's a spotlight verdict. They're going German as well. Sam Davenport comes on. Not sure if I know that name. Sam, welcome along. Check and challenge. 5-2 on the exchange in the next. Can't believe it's not a shorter price. Barry, this is a horse you've got business with. You put it up at Sandown last time. He did absolutely everything wrong. Yeah. Still nearly won.
Yeah, they backed it off the boards that day as well. I think it went off 11-4 favourite at the finish, but the winner got first run on him that day. I don't know. He looked like a horse to me that wants to step up and trip, because he was kind of, when the race developed, he wasn't able to go with them. When the winner flown, he was just cutting them down, going to the line. But it looks like a horse for me that want to be stepping up to 10 furlongs. He's 3.6 though, so he is on the slide. He was 11.8 when we first went up with the race. Bayside Boy 4, same price for Berkshire Shadow. Roccagiani is a 6 and it's 21 bar. I like Roccagiani with Tom Marquand in the plate. It's an interesting one because in the German Guineas, him and Maljun pulled 5 lengths clear of the third. Now we saw what Maljun did in the St. James's Palace. They brought him over them for the Jersey over 7 furlongs, and he ran a very respectable race there if you go back and look at it. He's staying on well at the finish. He wasn't beaten that far at all. He finished, he was beaten 2.5 lengths actually. So he carried a penalty that day as well for winning a Group 2 as a 2-year-old, so that didn't help. So it was a really respectable run. I think there's a doubt about check and challenge on a speed track like this, where it could turn into a bit of a sprint. Bayside Boy, I think, will probably go off favourite in the race, but Roccagiani for me, please, Kate. And we're going to have 25 quid. We're just going to have it win as well, because obviously there's you can bet 2 or 3 places on the Betfair Exchange, but just 25 quid win, Roccagiani.
Perfect.
I've mentioned that horse 4 times now, and I've called it a different name each time, but we know the horse I'm talking about.
Well, the Germans are coming, that's for sure. We're just about to find another one, because Kate Tracey is also on this. Now, Kate, please give us a case for this. But while I back a Bayside Boy, who's mine, because if Barry says this is going to go off fab, I need to get involved now.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when this race first opened up, I thought, check and challenge, I'm all over him. I still think he's the best horse in the race, but as Barry said, I'm just concerned about him. Good to firm ground on a very different track, because Sandown last time out, I know it was officially good to firm ground, but as we know at Sandown, with the amount of water they stick on it, it's never really good to firm. Uphill finish for whole way. Goodwood is going to be an entirely different test for him. And the fact he was so all at sea in the 2,000 guineas at Newmarket, I just have those queries. So as soon as he opened up at that price, I thought, probably is the best horse in the race, but I'm going to try and take him on there, even though he was this buzz horse around Newmarket prior to the guineas, chucked in at the deep end, and he is open to clearly further progression. But at that price, I would rather side with Roccagiani as well, who I think has better form anyway, because as Barry said, that second to Maljun then in the German 2,000 guineas is solid. Maljun should have won the St. James's Palace. I think majority of people would agree with that he was so unlucky behind Caribus. And then he ran a blinder last time out then in the Jersey in the Group 3 there. So yeah, with conditions to suit, he'll handle the quick ground. He has the good form, the experience. So price dictated. I'm following Barry in then with price dictated. With Roccagiani here. Not to underestimate the German form.
No, the Germans are indeed coming, and Barry and Kate are weighing in.
But the question is, did Barry and Kate know Roccagiani was?
You love doing
boxer,
this.
Wasn't he?
Was he a boxer?
Very much so.
Good boxer.
Two-weight world champion, yeah.
See, what you do is, you do this a lot.
Thanks to Nedsta on our social for
someone else is pointing that up as well. Okay. Well,
I didn't nick it from Nedsta.
What Rob likes to do is, you like to sort of you tried this with Baid earlier and you couldn't find
just
anything.
try and
about
learn.
a sheep, wasn't it? You found it was the closest you got.
Bard.
He was more of a lamb than a lion, which I said was a good line this week.
Well done, mate.
Indeed. But what you should do is you should save it to yourself, and you could have said in running, here he comes with the knockout blow.
But then it could have applied to Sonny Liston though as well. We've got 2 boxes in it.
I love it. Kate,
well done.
There's your headlines. If these 2 finish at 1-2.
Absolutely.
I just like to learn where these names come from.
This is ridiculous this week on the show, isn't
it? If these 2 finish 1-2 in an exact...
Yeah, you can use that one.
Now, Sonny Liston...
And if Berkshire Shadow wins, our producer Dan will be making a lot of noise in in our
we'll get
earpieces.
to watch this, Shadow. Go
the
on,
Sonny
Barry.
Liston, if Roccagiani beats Sonny Liston, will the commentator say it's a knockout blow?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who's
Two
commentating?
heavyweights coming to blows.
If it's Hoyles, then he's smart enough to.
Well, I feel
to
a little
make
bit
that connection.
shortchanged this week because Nat has been in the first 3 days, and each day she's had a commentator. Even Mel Rose had a go at it.
He's had a commentator.
Yeah, I've come in with you two, and I've had to do it all.
We're not commentators yet.
No, I don't
We have
profess
other-
to be.
No. We
We have
tried
other-
you for about
Mel
30
Rose
seconds.
was very good, actually.
Listen, I knew he was going to love it, Barry. The controlling quizmaster that he is had it all to himself. The tempo of the show. He looks at me sometimes. He's like, "Orton, you swine of a man." And but I could tell he was really enjoying himself on Tuesday. It was great to have.
It's
Keith
very
in.
hard to do. I thought you told me to do it once, didn't you? I thought
It was
this
terrible.
can't
We're
be that
never gonna
hard.
do it again.
Oh yeah, please don't.
No,
It was
never.
terrible.
We even I think we've even had Millman doing one. You know, he's like.
Rick Millman.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
proper
absolutely.
broadcaster, though, isn't he?
He literally keeps it brief. But yeah, no, it's an awfully hard job, and we appreciate that some of you don't have pictures out there, so that's what we try and let you know where they are. But more to the point, with the exchange market coming up, even though some of you are a little bit ahead of us, we can point things out that sometimes not a lot of people see. And that's really one of the reasons why you've got your second screen experience, you're watching ITV or whatever it is, RTV, whoever it is, and you're listening to us along the way, because you get experts' opinion during the race.
Not me, Kate, certainly.
No, I'm not
Definitely.
claiming
I
that
didn't
either.
need to look at Kate. Don't go there. Absolutely. Right, so let's go down to some of the others. Check and challenge. I'm a little bit lukewarm on him here.
Oh yeah.
He ran in the Guineas and he caught my eye on what turned out to be
Yeah.
that day the wrong side of the track.
Was the wrong side. That was his first run on turf.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
I
you
thought we
draw a
rushed
line
him a
through
bit
it.
quickly for it. And interestingly, William Knight, a trainer who's having a great time at the moment, has said today, if you're reading in your members club or in your racing post, in the quotes, that it took him a long time to get over that. At Sandown last time, when Barry mentioned it, as we mentioned, in that handicap, he did really well to get as close as
Yeah,
he
he was
did.
sluggish from the start, wasn't he? Maybe.
Yeah.
And Buick gets, he keeps the ride here, Buick. He'll know him a bit better. But should he really be favourite here? We've still got
I think
substance
so.
over
Yeah.
style.
I don't think many of these could have finished second off 108 in a handicap on the second run on
Well,
turf.
a lot of them haven't tried because
Not that I haven't tried, but I just can't see it. I think that there's loads of ability.
Well, look, there's a couple of horses with something to prove, aren't there? I agree on the German boxer. They changed up the tactics last time over the shorter trip, or maybe he just couldn't go the pace. I don't know. But he tried to be the hare in Germany for Maljoum. Now, I guess if you're on Bayside Boy and you're on Check and Challenge, a horse that can pull, you are hoping that back up in trip, Tom Marquand gets on this German horse from stall 1, the inside stall, and goes, catch me if you can, because that'll help them settle.
That's what he tried to do on his penultimate start, didn't he? And that's why Maljoum was the only horse that could get anywhere near him to reel him in, because he just tried to blast and went from the front. And I think he's going to try and do that again here. He does have the slight concern of his of pace pressure in here, though, of course.
With
doesn't
who?
he? I think the Wizard of Eye is likely to go forwards. Hotline Bling.
Yeah,
The
that was the one.
Hotline Bling's the main danger on that basis. He's Norwegian, isn't he? Yeah, Norwegian horse, and we know that he's a front runner. So, yeah, Hotline Bling was the main danger from the pace perspective. But hopefully, we know that Roccagiani doesn't have to blast. It was just tactics that worked that day in the German 2000 Guineas. Well, almost worked. But I think he'll be happy to take a sit in behind Hotline Bling in this race.
Yeah, he used to be trained by Richard Hannon, Hotline Bling, if you're wondering how you know that name, and you're thinking, who is Raphael
You
El
probably heard it
Frere?
on the radio as well
Drake.
a few years ago.
What, Hotline Bling?
Yeah, you know that track, do you?
No, I
You
don't.
not heard
Drake
that
fan?
track?
No.
You've heard of a two boxers and not Drake?
Now, the last time you two were on this panel, you started doing this. Look,
Well, it's going to
What are
keep
we
coming,
doing
boy.
this?
well, look, you just started talking about your own music. Look, if WhatsApp.
Well, I
each
don't
other
really
or
listen to
something
Drake.
like that. Get a
It's
room or
just
something and start
everyone
talking
knows.
about
Everyone
it.
knows that track.
I haven't got a clue
Everyone
about
knows
it, but
Drake.
I
maybe
mean, James Millman, when he was on, he'd never heard of New York State of Mind by Jay-Z.
Well,
Never heard of it.
So what you're saying is
He's-
Roccagiani and Sonny Liston are named after very well-known boxers.
Yeah, I'm saying
this
Hotline-
is named after a track.
Yeah, Johnson Moore, Wizard
to
of
know.
Eye, named after Wizard of Oz tenuously. What else we got here? Bayside
grab.
Boy. It's not really anything, is it? Just New Bay.
Bayside Boy's the one I like. Ryan Moore taking the ride for Roger Varian. Now, he usually has 4 or 5 runs for the Varian stable, Ryan Moore, each season, but that is because they have some Coolmore horses. The last time he rode... I've done a bit of homework on this. The last time... Because I just thought it was an
Even
interesting
on
jockey
holiday
booking.
as well.
Even on holiday with it. Believe it or not, there's such a thing, worldwide as a delay at the moment. So I had a bit of time last night to go through all this, and I looked through Ryan's rides for Roger. When he's not on Coolmore horses for him, he's got a very respectable strike rate, so around about 30%. And it's a very interesting jockey book in this. He started off Bayside Boy in the French Guineas. You're totally drawn out of that, and it was a tough ask anyway. And I wondered how he was going to fare as a 3-year-old, this chap. I didn't like him at all going into the St James's Palace, like a lot of people didn't. He ran a lot better than the bare 7th indicates. He got stuck behind the leader of Ado Briar's Akal, is it?
Yeah.
A horse that needs a lot further and was just lapped basically, and he had to switch out. And he wasn't as unlucky as Maljoum and the rest of them, but there was more to come from him. This is definitely a drop in grade. He's in stall 6.
I think that was a bad St James's Palace, though.
It's worked out all right, It's not worked out badly. I'm about to throw that.
All it was a blanket finish. That's what I thought at the time. I thought, oh, that's not great, but it is continuing to work out well.
Yes.
Are you concerned about ground for base? I know it was good firm last time out at Ascot, but do you think you would prefer it with a little bit of cut in it?
Before I answer that, let me just give you the since form runs from.
Yeah,
St
to be
James's
fair,
Palace.
I mean, when I think about Wexford Native and Akal, 1.
Lusail,
on Irish
3rd
Derby
next
weekend.
time out. My Prospero, 1. Mighty Ulysses, 1. Berkshire Shadow placed behind him, of course. New Energy didn't run so well in France last time. Angel Bleu sort of getting exposed now. Wexford Native and Akal, the 2 back markers, both 1.
Do you know what, mate? It's important to sometimes change your mind, isn't it? I think I've got it wrong. That's actually quite a good race.
And this isn't the first time I've ever heard you say that.
That was growth as a person.
Oi. I could admit when I've let the team down.
Well, that's good to know because, you're going to have to start doing it a lot more. OK, all right. So Bayside Boy for me, Baron. You said he's probably going to go off fab. We're watching them just exit the parade ring now. They all look an absolute picture. Is that going to be the case?
He's just gone favourite on the exchange.
Hey.
Bayside Boy, 3.7, 3.9 check and challenge. 4.1 Berkshire Shadow has been very steady at that, and Rottigiani 6.2 has been steady. It's 19 bar.
We're going to have to agree on the German boxer's name. Roggiani?
Yeah, do you know the geezer's first name?
Go on.
Graziano.
Graziano
Yeah.
Roggiani.
I knew this ages ago as well.
I should know this because I've
obviously,
obviously just been in Italy.
Was that thank you?
IBF super middleweight champion and WBC light heavyweight champion.
Graziano, is that thank you, did you say?
Grazie. Grazie is thank you. in Italian,
Grazia. Honestly, my Italian
we need
is
to ask
terrible.
you. You've just come back.
I've been to a
much on
part in
holiday,
Italy where
were
they
you?
don't speak a lot of English. A lot of my... And then this is where I came
I'd
handy,
say did
right?
the hands, yeah.
Because I'm
come
pretty
out,
good with
that
the
helps.
hands,
Dave,
as you well know.
I'm a waiter, right? I want you to order... You can order for me a pizza and your drink of choice. I'm the waiter.
Do you know
say?
what I did at
What
the
would you
table
like?
with my wife? All I did was this.
For the bill.
Just pay the bill, Dave.
Yeah.
That was like,
Cuenta.
basically.
How did you order your
Conta.
pizza?
Wait, that's...
Conta.
Barry's going Spanish.
So, look, Graziano Roggiani, he is... there you go, I got that right, didn't I? He's coming in, isn't he? I can see that. This is a tricky race. We've not even mentioned Berkshire Shadow, but we will do so... Let me tell you, this is going to get a big mention in the studio. After some socials, who else comes up? See, Barry's selection is about to be replaced by... Jim Sefton. Jim, welcome along. Roggiani is trained by top German connections. We'll give it a good go. Good luck, Jim. I hope he stays in front for you, basically, because we're expecting him to nearly lead, if not all the way. Steve M comes on. Welcome along, my man. Already on Sunny listed at 25s. Sparkling debut, crying out for shorter, might floor them. Very good.
There you go.
There's the pun. Sunny listed, you actually put him
Oh,
up.
yeah, I put him up for the derby, yeah.
I mean, that works out well, didn't it?
Kills was telling me beforehand, he was like, I think Sonny Liston should go for the mile handicap at Royal Ascot. The old, the Hunt Cup.
He's got some connections to Chelsea Thoroughbreds kills.
Yeah, he told me that, and I was like, I'm not sure about that, mate.
Well, here he is. Have you now got
Oh, he's
off the
called it now,
project?
hasn't he? Not the project. Maybe this race not quite good enough.
But he's your egg on face horse.
I'd
then.
rather him over 10 furlongs than a mile, I think.
Yeah, all right, we've got one more coming on. The Mighty Gomez comes back on. There's a name I recognise. Both of them will be out for the counter. Oh, the puns are all out there, aren't they? Absolutely. All right, stinging like a bee then, Roggiani, for a few of you out there. Happy days. Who's your favourite boxer? There's a good one. We could talk about that, couldn't we? But
Yeah,
Bayside Boy,
David Hay.
as said by Barry, now goes off favourite. Now, Berkshire Shadow, last year's Coventry winner, ran at this meeting last year on soft ground. And it's fair to say we haven't seen the best of him yet as a 3-year-old. But Dan Walsh, who's doing sterling producing work for us, he has gone on professional reputation, like a lot of people do on this show, like Graham Rodway, will win a Group 1 this year. Now, Before the end of next year, I'm hearing.
Before the end of next year,
Dan
giving yourself every chance, aren't you?
And our producer is telling the social guys not to bother clipping this up in this preview because we're all wrong. None of us have gone for him because Berkshire Shadow wins this race. And this is Berkshire Shadow's biggest fan. Now, Dan is a bit quirky, as we all know. He goes for funny horses. He loved Dark Shot, who won the Magnolia Cup, right? I mean, that project's still going. I think, did you back him in that? Dan?
Yeah,
Probably not. That was a great story as well, by the way, which I saw from afar. I backed this chap last time behind Mighty Ulysses. And Jason Watson, as Andrew Balding, the trainer, afterwards very politely tried to say, got it wrong.
It's good to admit when you're wrong, mate.
Growth. Well, let's hope that Jason Watson, if you're on him, grows from that ride. Look, Watson is a top rider, we know that, but it was a muddling race by Mighty Ulysses, who won that on the July course, and he took his measure about a furlong out. Berkshire, and I thought, aye, here we go, we've got this. He was a little bit unlucky in the St James's Palace because, unlike Maljoom, who went for that inside run along with Bayside Boy, he had to go all the way widest. And sometimes what punters don't realise is you're looking at all these unlucky horses on the inside. Well, they've cut the ground to get there. This chap had to cover it all the way out, and sometimes you can mark horses up for going too soon in races and losing it. Many more horses, shrewd judges tell you, will lose races by going too soon rather than coming too late in their races. You can get caught up by these late, in-running monkeys or whatever you call them, red herring horses. This chap, I thought, definitely had a massive chance, in that Newmarket race. And I'm not surprised at him being supported again because they will hold on for him longer here. My worry are this. I think that despite the fact he got bogged down on terrible ground in this race last year, or at this meeting, he doesn't want quick ground. I know he has one on quick ground, Dan. I can hear you shouting out there. But I don't think he absolutely wants it. I'm also worried about his slightly quirky side as well. He can miss the break a bit, and he obviously needs delivering right on the line. I still think he probably is a periphery, a Group 1 horse. He's won a Coventry, right? This is a proper horse. If you're not getting 3 places, though, which you of course are on the exchange, but if you're trying to back him each way, he's probably not the horse for today. And I just wonder whether there might be something for him a little bit later on, not today.
What would that be?
The Foray?
Ooh, dropping back then.
Interesting.
I'm not totally sure he totally sees out a mile either.
Yeah.
I didn't look to do it last time. And he hung a bit as well at Newmarket. That's what made me think it was lightning quick, wasn't it, Newmarket?
And that's why I thought that. I didn't think he looked totally at home on that ground either, the way he was lugging away to his left, where... Like say again here, I'm slightly concerned about the ground. And if he starts lugging away to his left like he did last time out, then he's going to be on the worst part of the track as well, on the worst part of the ground. And sorry, Dan, but I agree. I don't think he's entirely straightforward. So,
but the Group 1 dream is alive. If you're still on Berkshire's Shadow, a Coventry winner, and tough tasks for a Coventry winner at 3. They've got to stretch himself out. It's almost the sort of horse that sort of doesn't win as a 3-year-old and comes back at 4. Hence, he's given himself that 2023 option, I suppose. But there we are. We've covered most of them, haven't we? The Wizard of Eye is a horse that I actually really like because I backed it when it won as a 2-year-old under John Egan for Stan Moore at Newbury. James Doyle takes the ride. James Doyle's got some big rides coming up, unsurprisingly, later on this afternoon and tomorrow as well. But again, slightly easier race for him, but it would be a surprise for most of us, wouldn't it?
Very much so, yeah.
I don't want to underestimate horses freely after Pile Driver on Saturday, by the way. We got accused a little bit of doing that at the Racing Post.
What's Stan Moore's first name, real first? Because I said J.S. Moore.
Yeah. John? Probably John, isn't it? I don't know. I've never questioned the J.S.
Going by his middle name.
Stan Moore. But he's tried this guy really highly. And they obviously think the world of him. He's a beautiful looking horse. I imagine they must have had quite a few offers for him as a 2-year-old because he's a sort of horse that he's well beaten, of course, by
Hong Kong when they're sniffing around there.
But like I say, I think probably they must have done. They've resisted it. I'm looking at the owners. It's a partnership, and of which Stan is one of them, and they've obviously resisted so far. But Son of Galileo Gold, that is every horse mentioned. They're making their way down. Ryan Moore very tenderly taking Bayside Boy to the start. Is he still Fav Barry?
Yeah, hardening all the time, Dave. He's into 3.25, so bang on 9 to 4, 130, 4.3 check and challenge. Berkshire Shadow steady at 4. Rocchiani at 7.8 is a bit of a negative now. The Norwegian horse Hotline Bling was 65 when he left the parade ring. He went down like he took off as soon as he saw the Sussex Downs, and he's out to 250 off the back of that. He looks an absolute headbanger.
A bit like his track namesake, then, a one-hit wonder, is he, Hotline Bling?
One-hit wonder? I wouldn't call Drake a one-hit wonder. No.
Nah, I'm not sure about that, mate.
No.
I've got about 7
controversy.
7 or 8 globally big selling
Expect
albums.
him to go off at about 1 million miles an hour.
I know.
When the gates
Please,
open.
Rockagiani, don't
Shall
try
we
and go
put
with
another
him.
zero on for any backers
Yeah,
out there?
I'd
That's the
say they'll
question.
just let him go, though, Kate. They won't
Yeah,
even use him as a base angle. They'll just let him go.
Just
It looks
ignore
like
him.
the sort of horse he could be 20 lengths clear after a furlong.
Oh, well,
Wonderful.
but that is interesting, isn't it? Because we're wondering, you know, again, will Rockagiani, I've got it now. Will Rockagiani be taken on potentially by Hotline Bling? It looks now, if he goes down like he comes out, or if he comes out like he goes down, then we're going to see a tear away. I don't like that if I've gone for one, and I have had a go on Bayside Boy here. That worries me, because it makes the other jockeys think a bit much. I know I've got Ryan Moore on my side. But,
One of your top 3 jockeys, that.
It's a tricky one, that. He is one of my top 3 jockeys. I thought about. We had a conversation earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
About your trifecta of top jockeys out there.
Ooh. What are
and who
your
they
3?
are. Well, maybe I'll start this off, but I'll do it after this race. Okay. Safe,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yet another race where we're 5 minutes late.
Down to the start.
How have the times
Yeah, they just
been
seem to
this week?
amble down to the start of this meeting.
There's no urgency.
Come on, lads, take your time. No one's really cares.
Surely ITV must be going mad
I'm
about
just
this.
about to pour another gin and
We're
tonic,
also
Ryan.
going
Would you
mad.
mind
I know,
going
yeah.
slowly down to the start?
mean,
Fries me. Absolutely fries me.
You should bear in mind broadcasters need to fill the time, I think.
Now, this is interesting, and I was going to bring this up, actually, because I've been, you know, as I keep saying, I've been watching from afar this week, and sometimes I've been tuning in and going, where are they? You know, Ascot gets a lot of bad press.
Faffing around. Just get on with it,
Certain
mate.
courses in
Faffing
particular.
around, that's
but-
what it is.
Yeah.
Faffing around with split screens and stuff like that potentially on the horizon. It's not good, is it? So come on, crack on. You've got the world watching us at the moment as well. And again, a little bit like Royal Ascot, when you travel around, Goodwood is the next one they ask you about.
Yeah, that's it, isn't
Because
it?
it just looks so beautiful.
Yeah, it's so easy to sell, isn't it, Goodwood, with the Panama hats around and the extra sort of extracurricular things with all of the fashion going on as well. It's
Yeah.
very niche in itself, and it is. It's such a fantastic meeting to sell, but yeah, little things like this don't help themselves. It's just so unnecessary to have. And I know that they probably are let out of the parade ring early enough, and it's a lot of jockey. Sort of trying to get into each other's heads by the fact that they amble down, they're walking down. We see it at Epsom the whole while. The fact they have to go the length of the track then to actually get to the start, and they all kind of try to outwit each other by walking down. But come on,
It's very Ryan Moore, this, I would say.
Yeah,
You know,
surely there should be
thinking about
fines
connections
given
over
out or
everything else.
something.
Listen, it is what it is, that. I don't really have a massive opinion on it, but yeah, it's
I do.
it's unedifying. This is 2:25. Here we are waiting for the last couple to go in, which will be Bayside Boy, by the way, at 2:32. Good luck then. It seems like this is a tricky puzzle. Pace will be key as we go over the mile. Group 3 for 3-year-olds.
Right,
the Bond
Hotline
Thoroughbred
Bling.
Stakes.
Let's have it.
Let's have it, says
Hotline Bling,
Wilders.
boom.
We're not going to let you have the commentary. that's for
Rockagiani,
sure.
don't go.
Away we go then, and check and challenge as he did at Sandown. Not great away. Wasn't that bad actually, but not great away. Now here goes Hotline Bling.
Oh,
Going
let
for
him
the
go.
number 1 world
Just move out the
record.
way, please.
Yeah, he's an
Just
absolute
let him
head
go.
case, this chap, isn't he? And Manuel Martinez having his first spin around Goodwood is thinking, my lord, just hang on. Rockagiani. He's in second as expected. Now, this is interesting. Fair play to Berkshire Shadows rider Jason Watson, because he kind of got called out publicly by Andrew Baldwin for going too soon. Well, he sits in third. Perhaps he thinks that Hotline Bling's going to last a little bit longer than we do. Sonny Liston, the other boxer in the pack, on the inside, pulling for his head a little bit. If you look at the Bayside Boy, third last with Wizard of Eye, ridden for luck this time, and unsurprisingly, Buick on Check It and Challenge. Now, Barry, you called it. This has gone tearing off. They've ignored it.
Yeah, he's gone from 260 into 130 in running, 110 now.
Turning around as well.
3.5 Bayside, 3.7 Berkshire Shadow is in the box seat, and Rockagiani is now out to 7.4. He's just getting the hurry up there. Check and Challenge out to
He's been
9.6,
under
hard ridden
pressure
at the
for a
back.
Yeah, he's still green checking challenge. That's
Still
what it is.
so
I tell you
green.
what,
Sonny
Bayside
Liston-
Boy's
Sonny
hating
Liston's
this
gonna
track.
go and win
now,
this, I think.
here he is, the Group 1 winner in the pack, according to
Come
our
on,
producer Dan Walsh.
Rockagiani.
Under some pressure, Berkshire Shadow. Wizard of Eye goes up the inside. Will he get the run? I tell you what, it's going to go.
Rockagiani.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Rockagiani
no, that's
hanging
not
all over the place.
good.
He's never been on the canvas. No one wants to win this. It's
Sonny
going to be
Liston-
between
Sonny
the
Liston's
boxers.
gonna win.
This is it. We should have known,
Come on,
shouldn't we?
Marquand.
It's
Come on,
Graziano
Marquand. The boxers. It's gonna be the boxers.
versus Sonny Liston and Wizard of
Come on,
Eye on the
Rockagiani.
inside.
Come
Are
on,
we going to get
Rockagiani.
the Germans have got the prize. Barry Orr, you can't keep a good man down. 2 rated so far. He laid the fav in the first. He got it right. And Kate Tracey weighed in as well. Well done. Alemannia flags flying everywhere, Barry. You knew.
hampered the retreating Hotline Bling, didn't he? At one stage,
he
just kind of rolled in on top of him when he first went for his whip on the winner. Tom Marquand did, but the runner-up, you gave a good mention to him, didn't you? The Wizard of Eye.
Yeah.
He had a low of 3.5 in running. Check and Challenge never made any sort of inroads at all, although did trade at a low of 2.82. That must have been pre-race. That wasn't in running for sure. Sonny Boy Liston made a few shakes for a while. He had a low of 1.31, so 3-1 on Sonny Boy Liston. Berkshire Shadow hit a low at 2.24. So there's plenty, as you can see, they're spread wide across the track. Plenty of in-running news there, but yeah, nice to get a winner in on our lucky 15.
Well, thank you, Barry. Absolutely, yeah. Listen, he's found Maljoom only too good in the German Guineas. He beat Wizard of Eye senseless that day. I wonder if there is an unlucky horse in the pack, Rob. It probably is the runaway. He's a massive beast, Wizard of Eye, isn't he? Because as Hotline Bling was retreating and the boxer of German variety has hung across the track, he was going for the inside run, Doyle, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's just completely unlucky, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't think he had the form to.
Ooh, he gets a bump,
poor
doesn't
old
he?
Hotline Bling. Going to be sore when he goes back to Norway later. I mean, I feel, I don't know about that Berkshire Shadow.
Oh, we'll get to that. Get your coat down, Walsh. I think.
Is he going to win a Group 1?
I tell you what, there's some funny old performances in here.
Sonny Liston's run very well now.
Did you hear that from Dan?
Group 1 in Jersey. Oh, yes.
Ridden by Matty Batchelor.
Yes.
The statement for our producer, if you're just tuning in, was Berkshire Shadow will get a Group 1 within a year and a half. He didn't, of course, but it could be in India, couldn't it, or somewhere like that, I don't know. Or maybe in Italy, I don't know. But it was a truly run race, but there were some real big disappointments in there. Let's concentrate on them. First of all, Check and Challenge, if you're on the original favourite. The market seemed to know, Barry, didn't it? It stank.
Yeah, he really did stink at the finish. I'd say it's back to the drawing board with him. He was pulled out widest of all for his run. He looked like he might stay on, but I don't know. He could be one of those. He's kind of given up on him in the last furlong or so. He's only pushed him out hands and heels. I think he had a little glance down as well. Probably not liking the ground either, I would imagine. But yeah, you'd probably see him back on the all-weather. It was a true run race. It was a good race, and I think once up came to Roccagiani, I think he found more. He was always going to find more. I think he just idled a little bit in front.
It's good to see these international horses winning on the British stage, that's for sure. He hasn't liked the track. Now, look at Bayside Boy's head here. It was a horrible head carriage at one point. Ryan's gone for him. He's pulled him out, ensuring he gets a clean run. He's hit a flat spot and then he's run on again towards the finish. Jury's out for him with me. Berkshire Shadow. I mean, Jason Watson. I want to be... listen, I'm really surprised that he went for everything when he did, because this is a horse that definitely hit the front too soon last time, and it's almost a carbon copy of what he did at Goodwood last time. So the market leaders have all disappointed there. Wizard of Eye shown himself to be a proper group horse, and my goodness, is he a 4-year-old in the making. I really, really like this horse. He's a beautiful looker, isn't he, on the inside?
Yeah, he's so flashy, isn't he, with those 4 white socks, big white blaze on his face, chestnut. Oh, he's lovely looking, and again, just giving that further boost of a German 2,000 guineas form. We cannot afford to be snobby in this country anymore about European form, can we, whatsoever? And a further form boost from the pair of them, from Maljoom. How good is Maljoom?
Well, I'm trying to get there, actually, as you were saying this, because I'm trying to see... I mean, where are we expecting to see Maljoom next?
Maljoom, Jack Lamarois.
I was going to say, will he go... or Mulan?
Hang on.
Prix de Moulin, yeah.
I'm trying to see what entries he's got.
He's in the Celebration Mile.
Now this...
Back at this track on the 27th of August. That's his only entry at the moment.
This race is usually a precursor for that, of course, which is at the end of... August, isn't it, basically? This is very good horses going for it, not quite Group 1 horses. It would be... I mean, there was talk, wasn't there, for Maljoom after the St James's Palace. All right, he's the one that might be paid and things like this.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't...
It was that exciting, people were about the
If
finish.
he wasn't trained by William Haggis, like, if he was right, then surely he would have gone for the Sussex Stakes.
But chucking him in...
Because he had better claims than Caribus did, didn't he?
Maybe he has... Yeah, I don't know. We'll try and get a word from the stable on that as soon as we can, because he is... You sense he's the one horse... Royal Ascot that everyone wants to see next.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the biggest Probably the most unlucky horse of the week.
The mile division could really do with another one after Baid steps up as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. When he steps up, and I don't even know what's actually going to be facing Baid in the international, to be honest with you, because
Mishrif ran a shocker parry, didn't he? That's the thing.
But then, he
he's
needs to
1 mile
bounce
4
back again. Then, but at least it's back over his preferred trip, isn't it? I don't think he says a mile 4 in this country, so at least he's back to the. But then what else? Desert Crown ruled out. Verdani's going to the Irish Champion Stakes. Native Trail, no excuses in the Eclipse. Really like him though. Nashwa, I don't think she's going to go there. State of Rest, Jacques Lemallois. So
yeah, there could be 5 runners there.
Yeah,
there literally could be nothing.
And again, you sort of feel for Baid a bit. I once said that to Bruce Millington. He goes, "Never feel sorry for a horse."
Of course.
But that's such a literal thinking. But what I mean is, you sort of feel sorry for the legacy and the fact that, obviously he's not reading social media and all that sort of stuff. But it gets a bit tiresome, doesn't it? But the fact of the matter is, they're either falling by the wayside or they're ducking it.
He's in an era where there's small fields in group middle distance races. And there just isn't the level of horses.
You can't say his form's not working out extremely well.
That's what I mean. It's like I hate keep using this Frankel factor to compare him to Frankel, but similarly to Frankel from a positive note is, every horse that Frankel kicked out of the way, basically, and they all then upped their own game. He made them all look like handicappers, yet they were still able to come out and win group races themselves. Baid is the exact same. Poor Real World. He would be a standout horse if it wasn't for Baid. And then you've got Order of Australia going out and winning at the Curragh in a Group 2.
Chindit.
You've got Chindit going out and winning a Group 2 then on his next start. Even Bless Sabuska went and won at the weekend at York. So Baid, for all that people want to crab his form and say, well, what's he really got to beat? You look at what the horses that he has readily kicked out the way have done since. They're all group winners since then. So he's brought a whole generation of milers up, but none of them can get near him, so he needs to prove himself. Well, doesn't need to prove himself, but it'd be great to see him over further.
Well, they'll all be hoping he doesn't revert back for the QE2, of course, because the mile division becomes wide open. Could it still yet be a filly that goes and tears that division up a little bit later on? Because Dermot Well's horse, whose name escapes me, the Moyclair horse.
Homeless Songs.
Homeless Songs.
Yeah, she needs cutting the ground. She'll be an autumn campaign.
All right. So look, listen, if you don't like us talking about the best horse in the world, then this isn't the show for you. We're going to keep doing it. And we've got loads of time in between races. That's what we're doing. We'll be talking about the mile division, though, Barry. 20 minutes' time. One of the handicaps in the entire flat season, indeed, the whole year, the whole universe. It's the Golden Mile comes up.
Golden Mile and a really warm order at the head of the market, Noble Dynasty, who won the race in Newmarket on the July course, won a handicap recently. 3.45, so sub 5-2 for that one. Blue for You, the ex-Dermot Weld horse. Hasn't won since he's gone to David Almera, and he's traded short in his last 2 runs in running, Dave. You'll be glad to hear. And he's got chinned. He played at 288 and 2s on the time before that, so I have to question his constitution. When he was over here with Dermot Weld, he won 1 race from him, and he only won that race a short head. He fell in that day. Lawful Command 12, 13 Jimi Hendrix, 16 Eileen Dove, Shining Blue is 15.5, 16 Bardem, a whole host of horses in there. Zindari is 23. His form's after taking a bit of a knock with Check and Challenge, running so poorly in our previous race. But the horse I like in it, please, Natalie, is Eileen Dove. Has won 3 of his last 4 this season, has won 4 in total in this season for the horse. He just keeps on improving. He started the campaign off 77. He's rated 95 now. He's gone up 18 pounds for those 4 wins. Never seems to run a bad race. He's drawn 6, which is crucial here. You have to be drawn low in this race. He's drawn 6 and likes the race prominent as well. So we're going to go over to the sports book. So if you just toggle to the sports book, please. We're going to look to have 25 quid each way to avail of the 6 places on the Betfair sports book. 6 places to each way punters here. Currently, you with me?
Yes, no.
Yeah, Betfair
sorry,
Sportsbook,
no,
6
there
places.
You,
You just scroll down. Eileen Dove, we're going to have 25 quid each way him.
Yeah, got you. Each way, £25. Perfect. Eileen Dove.
Place bet. Perfect. Thanks.
He's on a hat trick. We need to make sure he's got it right.
Yeah.
The reason why I was sort of sniggering during Blue for You, there were 2 reasons, Barry, because you put this up at York last time, didn't you? Thinking he might make the running, and they reverted to hold up taxis, and he just got going a little bit too late. You question his resolution. The race he won, of course, for Dermot Weld was at Galway.
That's
I think
right,
he won one of those decent maidens, didn't he? And they all thought he was going to go on
Won a handicap.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you were to Google stall 1 in the Golden Mile over the years, you're not going to be too far away. It has, though, only won 1 of the last 10. Showing you that it can get, if you're not on a horse that sits in the box seat or leads or anything
but
like
many
that.
double-figure draws have won this race in the last 10 years, Dave.
1, and it was the well-punted Wentworth, you seem to remember, for Richard Ann Senior. Richard Hughes, from memory, doing the steering on a Coolmore horse. 3-year-olds do win this race. They've got, and Hannon's won 2 of the 3-year-olds. Mark Johnson. He used to be a race of 3-year-olds, this, you know. Like really well fancy 3-year-olds.
How far back are we going?
2013, 2012, that sort of era, around about them. But now, more recently, they have struggled a bit because it is a rough old race, this. It is worth a lot of money to the winner, of course, the best part of 80 grand. So it's a prize you want to win. And when the draw was done on Tuesday, Rafe Beckett and Rob Hornby, who've been having the summer of their lives, probably were thinking, please do that again, as was David O'Mara and Shalia and Jason Watson, the aforementioned Jason Watson. They've got to come from stalls 22 and 21 respectively.
Not going to happen, is it? It's very, very difficult, just the way the track's set up there, to get involved from a high draw.
Yes, because all of a sudden the false rail is now taken away to provide the fresh ground, so it's literally like haydock. It's like a chicane in,
across, yeah.
And those horses that are caught wide, they're just covering so much more ground. Now, to be on a hold-up horse from stall 1, for example, as I just said, Franklin D it was, who landed a right punt from Michael Bell and the Gredleys under Ryan Moore. Ryan Moore's got a great record in this race, by the way. I can't remember what he's riding off the top of my head. That's because I haven't gone for it. What's he on Moore? Oh, he's on, of course, the Turpinator, who's drawn in stall 11. So he just misses the threshold. But if you want any man on in this race, it's seemingly the stats will tell you it is Ryan as well. You can get through. But I have seen some very good horses. Escobar, of course, has now got to go from stall 19. Good old Escobar. Frankie doing the steering there. You're going to need Frankie and Ryan in the saddle, I think, combined for that chap to get in. But he threads the eye of a needle, doesn't he? And you see some horror stories in this race. Let's see if we can factor it out. Barry goes. He's on a hat-trick for Colbert, Clifford Lee, and the tough Eileen Doob, who comes in off a win at York last time. Definitely been laid out for this. I'm surprised that she's been so easy in the market. Kate, who do you like?
I'm being very unoriginal here. I'm with the Fav then. Yeah, I mean, this race, when we talk about draw biases overall, this is one of the big ones of the entire season, isn't it? With the Golden Mile handicap, you have to be drawn low. You really do. Because as you say, with the fact that they've taken the rail away now, so those drawn higher, they have to cover so much more ground. They get on the worst ground then down the centre of a track as well when they're coming to challenge. The only horse that we've really seen from a wide draw, then apart from Wentworth, was it 15 Love or was it Sea Lord? Can't remember now, but yeah, there was one years ago where basically from an outside draw, you have to sit on the rail, chance your luck, hope that it completely opens up then on the rail, but that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen on this race that they leave that inside rail. So yeah, one in the last 10 years has won from a higher draw than stall 8 as well. That was Wentworth in stall 13. But Wentworth had already run twice at Goodwood, had solid Goodwood form.
He did come down the middle from memory.
Yeah, and he had solid Goodwood form, which you kind of, if you're going to overcome your wider draw, you at least need to know the track well. So it's definitely something to factor in here. But yeah, Noble Dynasty for me though, I just think that he is going to be another one of these horses that is bound for greater things from the Charlie Appleby yard. Now, this horse costs 3.6 million guineas as a yearling. We know that Charlie Appleby, though, is not afraid to geld them when he has to, regardless of what their price was. And with this, that was the case. He has an impeccable pedigree. He's a half-brother to Barney Roy, so it couldn't have been an easy decision. But goodness me, it didn't half show, though, on that reappearance start, back of an 8-month break. He was a far straighter horse. I know it was only 3 rivals he had to contend with. No, it wasn't, sorry. It was a much bigger race than that, but he won it in such good style after making all. So I'm expecting him to go forwards from stall 3 here as well. Solid draw to his name. So I was between him and Blue For You, but I'm just concerned if Blue For You slightly misses that break, gets further back, he might have a wall of trouble. And as Barry was saying, I'm just not entirely sure about him getting his head back in front again. I think that the novelty of the visor may just have worn off.
Now, I'm agreeing with you, but disagreeing with you at the same time. So I've got Noble Dynasty on top. Now, this is a tomato thing, right? This is a dynasty woman.
Is it a dynasty?
Yeah, the American flair.
I'll go dynasty.
I'm dynasty all the way. I don't know about you, but we know from my pronunciations, I tend to get them.
Would you have said during that horse, David Pipe, dynast?
Dinas,
Would
not
you say
Dynas.
Dinas?
People used to
Dinas.
call him Dinas.
Well,
Is
yeah,
it
why aren't you
Dynasty?
saying
no,
Dynasty?
yeah.
I don't know, but I'm with you all the way.
American.
I basically did the analysis for this chap, and I backed the horse that was second to him that day on the July course when he made his return, called Echo Point. Hated the ground Echo Point, but it was still a strong race. Power of Darkness was third, repertoire was fourth, decent benchmark repertoire, and he only gets a £3 penalty for this. Now that takes him to a mark of 97. We gave him a race post rating of 108. He's basically chucked in this horse. He's a group horse in a handicap. He's a 4-year-old, like Kate says, the gelding. He won really well that day. He was always in the van as well.
Yeah.
And he kept finding. I thought I was going to get him at one point, and my horse hung away a little bit. Echo Point, you'll know if you back that. But he was vastly superior at the finish.
So he's
there
under
is
£3
one
penalty.
worry. So when stall 3 came out, everyone was like, happy days, off we go. One worry, and it's the race coming too soon. You mentioned the boing before for other horses, the bounce. He has a very good record, Fresh Noble Dynasty. So if you're taking anything under 3-1 in this race, you need to factor that in. Is he an each way horse? Lots of people like to play each way.
Certainly
around
not.
about 3-1. I'll tell you what.
I know Tom Part likes those kind of bets. Like
well, during the jump
5
season,
to
you
2
back an
shot
11
each
to
way.
4 second favourite against an odds-on shot. They're the races that
still
bookies
got to
don't
get
like
round.
to get you
Still
on
got to
with.
get round though.
Yeah, well, of course.
No,
but
I
a lot
don't
of people will see it as thievery and all that sort of stuff. But if you are going under 3-1 on a horse like this, you have to factor in that Noble Dynasty is very good fresh. The other thing is that there was a hot pot for Godolphin in this race last year that won the same race as Noble Dynasty on the July course last year, and the name was, it escapes me at the minute, but I will get it. Is it Path of Thunder? That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, when I
Path
popped
of
2
Thunder
last year.
won
Yeah.
the same race. So look, it's a tried and tested route for them, but he finished 13th.
Nice angle,
He
that,
just
mate.
found it coming far too soon. So, and he was drawn in 3 as well, I think, or he was drawn in 1 or something like that. So look, everything looks right. Kills is on this. I think if you're watching, listening to feature shows and all that sort of thing here at the Racing Post this week, Roshajiani was one for him as well. So much love for that in the previous race. But if you're on this fav, a word of warning, he might boing. If he doesn't, it's all over, I think. I hate to say that in a really competitive race, but this is a group horse. So I've gone for him. He was a bit of a bigger price earlier in the day. The other horses that I like against him, before we go to Robbie, Rebel Territory I like, slightly worried about the ground for him.
Ground,
But they have put on loads of water this week. I mean,
I think it was 5 mil last night after
5
racing.
mil last
I
night.
think they
Rodders
put
was
on.
going wild about the Trushan thing, wasn't it? Saying, finally, they've put enough water on. Make up your mind, G-Rod. And loads of people, of course, that was a little bit controversial for that. The other horse that I like, and I think he wants slightly easier ground as well, is Lawful Command for Brian Meehan and George Rook, who loves this course. Really tough when he won here at the start of the season. And he's a pace angle from stall 4. That would be my trifecta. And I used to love doing exotic bets in this race rather than having a go at one. I used to just trifecta up all the low numbers and combinations, stuff like that. You might want to do that. Okay, there is a stewards into the last race, by the way.
Yeah, I was just seeing Tom Marquand and old Manuel Martinez having it out in the room.
Old Manuel, the old chum.
I only heard of him about half
Got
an
the
hour
all clear,
ago.
did it, Barry? I mean, it was
good.
too far out, wasn't it? But it was an ejection for the Norwegian
Hard.
horse.
If you want to hear the trainer, they televised the inquiry, and the trainer and the jockey, the Norwegian horse, they're 2 Brazilians. They lobbied hard for Tom Marquand. I think they thought they might have get the race or something because they were interfered with
From
by the
fifth.
winner. But they were like, Tom Marquand's like, well, I apologise, I'm sorry. He was only short of saying, listen, you finished last. Will you leave it out, last?
I tell you
Listen
what,
here, lad.
you wouldn't want to square off with Tom Marquand in the ring, would you? He's a little chap, but I tell you what, at his weight, he's built
Nah, I
like a
fancy my
boxer.
chances, mate.
Yeah, well, you do a bit of gym work, but he
little
would
bit, yeah. He does as
absolutely-
well,
He'd have
though.
you within 3 seconds without question.
Well,
Maybe
let's
we'll
have
get
it
him in
one
the studio and
time.
see how
Make
that
this
goes.
happen.
But yeah, no. Look, so there you go. Look, there was a bit of drama after the race, but it was unfortunately too far out. But Roccagiani definitely hung across. Listen, it's Goodwood. There's cambers. It's undulating. It's not for everyone, this track. We do see it. So there we are. Okay. Interesting support for one here, Barry. I said that Rob Hornby and Rafe Beckett would have been pretty crushed when the jaw for the other penalised runner in the race, along with your Eileen Doob and Kate's Noble Dynasty, is Jimi Hendrix. He's in stall 21, but he's pretty solid in the market, isn't he?
Yeah, he's steady away. He's 14 now in the win only on the exchange market. Last time out winner, wasn't he? He was around the 12 mark, Dave. So he's not massively being supported or anything. If anything, he's just a little bit of a slide. Blue for you, 10.5. That's a bit of a negative as well. It's all around the favourite, really, at 3.6 now, 5-2. Some money, Orban, Jason Watson drawn 2. Small few quid for that. He's on the 30 mark now.
Yeah, now he caught my eye because of the draw and because it's David O'Mara who definitely points his horses towards this. You know, we mentioned Escobar was placed in the race last year. He always has runners in it. Now Roscolin, the other one for David O'Mara and Harry Davis, again likes this track, doesn't he? Hasn't shown his best the last twice. Maybe he could be in need of a break, but he's in 18. He's installed 28. No surprise that Orban is being back. He would be one you definitely put in your exotics, but he rarely wins.
Oh yeah, he was unlucky in this last year, wasn't he?
He just rarely wins.
Yeah, exactly.
He always finds a way to get beaten. Something you could probably, align yourself with. Especially when you see him on a Boris bike. We've got Uzo in here. If you like Uzo's territory. Uzo's in 7. We should give a mention to him.
My selection, that,
It's a bit quirky.
Although, Check and Challenge doesn't exactly frank the form last time, is he?
I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that.
Nah, but he was boxed in at the rail there at Sandown. And he is officially £1 well in on that effort. And I just thought Sinjari, he's much shorter price, but he's worse drawn, and everything went his way.
Class horse.
So just on a match bet, I think that's quite a good match bet, Uzo, to beat Sinjari.
I think the top 5 in the handicap are all in double figures, aren't they? Yeah, this is a cracking race. It's the Golden Mile. It's worth so much money to the winner. There's a reminder of Barry's selection. He's on a hat trick, the big hitter from Betfair. And so Eileen Duby, again, surprising that the 4-year-old filly is going out in the betting. We'll have a look at them down at the start as they go down. I'll tell you what, that looks absolutely perfect. Look, can't sit it out, can she? We try and give her a breather, but here she comes. Natalie Green may have a go on Shining Blue, an unexposed improver going through the grades. Well, hopefully, Natalie Green, we've told you that can't possibly win because it's installed 20. Have you learnt nothing from your previous 3 days here on this show? Nat will be back with us tomorrow. Unbeaten. I'm glad you mentioned that, Nat, actually. Because this is unbeaten. They were thinking of going for the jersey with this chap. They elected to keep him low-key. They've gone the handicap route. He probably is, Kate, a bit better than a handicapper, isn't he? But still 20?
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? I mean, he was given the £6 rise then for that Newcastle handicap win last time out, which was very easy, admittedly. But returning to turf here, very tough race. Stall 20, rough and ready race as well then. Sorry, Nat. I'm sorry, I'd love to be with you here, but I just think this might be a bit of a steep learning curve for him from the outside still.
Honestly, we're going to get egg on our faces here and she'll be sitting there going, don't talk it down too much.
She'll just be sat here tomorrow.
I'm looking to see whether Shining Blue's got any entries, actually. Really interesting horse, Shining Blue, because we didn't see him as a 2-year-old. Came to Leicester, and the money was down at Leicester, wasn't it, on the straight track there. But in fact, he's been a short price every time he's gone off. He's in, what is he? Yeah, I thought he would be in a group race, you know. He's in the Clipper Logistics handicap, which is basically a slightly poorer version of this, at York next. I've got the winner of that, by the way, if you want to know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Golden Boy. It just wins that. At the Haggis also. And then it wins the Cambridgeshire, and then it goes on to be the next to Dave. And it's also in the City of York Stakes. So look, this is a very classy horse. It's not an Appleby, it's a Sidebinser, of course. Pat Cosgrave does most of the rising, Patsy does. And if it keeps out of trouble, it's just, we don't know how good it is, do we? But again, another horse that, despite a horrid draw, we don't think it can win from there. The stats say it can't, is being backed because we just don't know how good it is. A classy race. Now, Kate, I don't want to wind you up. But they are strolling to the start.
What
They're
time
not
is
in
this?
a little
3
hurry,
o'clock.
are they?
So
What's all this about?
They've got 3 minutes and they've got, how many horses in this to load? Yeah.
Look at Walters. Do you feel violated by this?
What
Dan
are they
Walsh
doing?
after
What have they been
Berkshire
doing the
Show.
last 15? I know, like Mark Hond and Manuel Martinez were having it out in the steward's room, but what the rest of the fellas been up to?
Oi, jockeys, no. Is that what you wanted to say?
Get on with it, mate.
Play mind
They
games
want to
with
get
each other,
home.
so they're
They want
not
to get
then-
home on time.
So they're not then loaded first because they've got all those horses to load. So on a hot day, you don't want to be first into the stalls, understandably so. Someone has to go in, so come on, lads, just cop on and get down to the start. Look, and then it takes one of them to kick on cantering down to the start there. But it's something where people will ask you, I was asked this the other day on the radio, where people will ask you sort of, what's your pet peeve, or what's the thing you would most change about racing at the minute? And obviously everyone's first thing to go to is prize money. And
Fixture list prize money.
fixture list prize and all the standards. And I just said, my number one pet peeve, it just grates on me, are unnecessary late off times. I cannot. Fair enough if it's a bunch of youngsters that are proving difficult to load, but you allow that time for that. Fair enough if a horse needs reshoeing, an overgirth snaps, anything like that, completely fair. This, what is the point? It just it fries me. It doesn't look professional. How's this a professional
so annoying,
sport?
right?
I think your presence is winding Kate Tracey up today. She's normally unflustered. You know, she didn't.
Honestly, few things get to me, but when they get to me and grate
Robbie
on me.
Walters is the main
Right.
one.
You're on a day out, yeah. You're out in the sun. You're not really watching all. You got to bet on the 3 o'clock. You go turn on at 2:59. They're nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And then you have to you turn on your mobile data, turn it back on again. 5 minutes later, they're still dicking around. Apologies.
I had to put down my Amalfi Spritz and stuff like that in Italy because I was like, I wanted to watch the racing. And they weren't even there, so I had to order another one by that time. Again, I was doing it.
And you were hammered by the time the race was off.
And then you come back and the race is over.
Well, yeah, look, it is annoying. I get what you mean. And internationally, we've got whirlpools and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing, whirlpools. Exactly. When the amount of money we're relying on at the minute then from whirlpools because we want to make it an attractive brand. And the whirlpool has been received brilliantly from what I've been hearing then, from what they've been getting back. But
because in France, they're like notoriously always laid off, and that's to allow people on the Paris Mutual to get on in the various different bars and outlets around the country. They go in late, but it's the same with Whirlpool.
You don't
it's
think
just
they
to
mind
make sure people are on.
My problem with the Whirlpool is it just sounds like a washing machine. It is
a washing machine,
and it's broken, which they all are. I was told, Barry, when I came into the office, did you have a bit of a tete-a-tete with the Melrose about the Whirlpool on Tuesday? I was told there'd been a few nicely humoured,
we were talking
some
about
banter.
Baid. Well, Melrose was talking about Baid, and he said that with the Whirlpool, because there was a Japanese horse in it, that potentially he thought that you could get about 1.6 on Baid. And I said, whoa, what'd you say, 1.6? He said, yeah, 1. I mischievely said 1.6. So we set it at 1.4, which is 2 to 5. 1.6 is 6 to 4 on. It was never going to be that. We set it at 2 to 5, and it was 6s on. It was returned, 1.16. So
he was bound to have opinions on that one. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't.
It was a strange one for him to come out with because there was a Japanese horse in it. He thought that the Whirlpool that would be overbet and therefore drive out the price of Baid. But I made the point to him around betting syndicates, and that was never going to happen. To bet into those pools, it was always going to be a fair reflection of what the Betfair SP was, which was the same as the Whirlpool SP. Having said that, the Betfair SP and the Japanese horse was massive, and it was 4 or 5 times what it was on Whirlpool. So while the Japanese horse was bet, it wasn't reflected in the price of Baid.
Fair enough. All right,
that's
okay,
good,
there we are. I would love to have been there, just see Keith's face, really.
Yeah.
Keith broke his Boris bike maiden the other day because he had to dash to the office because he was so late for the show the other day.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
I heard about this.
He come in sweating through his purple jumper.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. He loves purple, doesn't he, the Melrose?
I don't know why, and he wears a yellow one sometimes as well. It's even worse.
He's
got Betfair's
we heard that someone calls him purple jumper in the office, and everyone knows once that person refers to him as purple jumper who they're talking about. You don't even have to flag it up.
Exactly.
It's like, purple jumper. Someone christened him that in the office. I heard that.
Robbie stays in the office more than the caretaker, basically. You're in here.
Whenever anyone's left their pass.
Jonathan Harding, you call the milk monitor.
I call him the milk monitor.
Pretty harsh,
or the prefect.
What's a milk monitor? Oh, as in,
someone gives out milk to everyone is like goody two shoes.
He hasn't been brave enough to tell me my name yet.
And also Ed as well, because Gay Calloway famously called him Ed on racing.
That was one of the highlights of the season.
She's got his name wrong.
What for Jonathan?
Called John as Ed.
Oh, she called him Ed.
On telly. What's your name? All the big calls.
On all the big races.
Different show, obviously.
Absolutely. And when I'm not around?
Davo. Because in your email signature it says, cheers, Davo.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It just makes me laugh, that signature. It's not the most professional, is it? I do might talk about professionalism, but...
Well, you are the last one to talk about that.
Thank you.
All right, now we digress because they are risking the wrath of Kate Tracey even further by taking such a long time to load for this, the most valuable of mile handicaps of the season. It is the Golden Mile. What price Noble Dynasty now, Barry?
Noble Dynasty 3.6, 12 blue for you, 13 lawful command. That's been really strong throughout. Jimi Hendrix is 12.5 from 14. And the market's just suspended there for some reason.
Something's been pulled out.
So I don't know why that is.
Oh, Barry, this is gonna talk about risking the wrath. I think Eileen Doob is out.
Oh,
Eileen Doub's come out.
For some reason, Barry, something's gone wrong.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it looks that way. The hat trick will have to wait. You might have got lucky.
Yes, you're right. She's out. He's out. Yeah, he's out.
So is it he, Eileen Doob?
Yeah, I know.
Eileen.
I always go to call him a filly.
Very rare that I get my sexes wrong. Trust me. I've been around the world, and I
Good
very
thing.
rarely do it.
Sinful whoever named a male horse Eileen Dove.
Well, that's what I thought.
Black Eileen.
Because
Yeah.
Barry, can I ask
Fair,
you?
is it?
That is pronounced Dove because the owners were saying on the
owners
Sunday
haven't a
series.
clue. It's
No,
pronounced Dove,
they
yeah.
said that it's pronounced
Dove.
Do. I'm like, I'm not
Do,
Irish,
yeah.
but from everything I've seen, BH is V because I've had it drilled into my
Look at Kate
mind.
Tracey said, look what you're doing to her. She's got to come back tomorrow. I'm worried about it.
Yeah, settle down, Kate, would you?
Settle down.
Do.
It's the fact it's gone 4 minutes past now. It just every minute that passes, I get worked
Every
up.
second that goes
yeah.
on that clock.
But I had to ask Barry that is how you pronounce his name, isn't it? And the owners.
I mean,
That's
Do.
the way
know
I
how to
pronounce it,
it. Yeah.
D-U-B-H,
Black
Dove,
Eileen.
yeah.
Was it
It's
not
like calling
good?
a
Black
gelding
Black and
princess,
Irish.
isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you can't do it.
The owners can pronounce their horse's name however they want, but don't then go and tell other people. You can call your horse Frankel and pronounce it Greg for all you want at home, but you
Yeah.
can't expect people to pronounce this on the racecourse like
Anyway, it caught me out. Oh, okay.
I'm still saying dub her.
that. Duh.
What are we expecting to lead while they realign the market
gosh.
and, of course, get the last couple in, I'm thrilled to say.
Yeah, get him in.
The favourite, I keep looking at the favourite, by the way, guys. What a picture he looks. He's just having a little think about going in.
He's just flashed his tail a little bit there.
Nothing wrong with a bit of tail
But,
flashing. I was going to go flail tashing there. It's been a long day, let me tell you.
Mighty Gomez says, Dave, Mighty Gomez says, Jimi Hendrix bound to run into crosstown traffic.
Oh,
Very
love
good,
it,
Mighty.
absolutely.
Tell you what, we're going to have to
That's
get
your
Marty
reference.
Gomez in
He
one
was
time,
on
aren't
song
we?
with that one, very much
This fella
so.
comes up
Hitting
with
the
some
right
good
notes.
angles.
Absolutely, blasting away. So come on, who leads? Lawful Command will be up there, won't he? Him and Jimi
Yeah.
Hendrix
Yeah,
met last
from
time
there.
in the swing at the weights. I
That's
like
it,
him.
yeah.
Saleh M, another one that might be up there
Austrian
with a
Theory
Doyle.
from Saw 12, likely to go forwards.
Yeah, he's been
We'll see if
really
he doesn't.
steady in the betting.
Austrian Theory.
Austrian Theory.
Oh, Saleh M. Oh, he finally got it over the line, didn't he, when no one was watching, having started off in the Lincoln and danced some big dances, and he let me down at Newmarket. I jumped off on the Rolling Mile, of course, 2 races later he does it. Lots of penalised runners in here. Look, it's a proper race, this. And what tends to happen, they go hammer and tongs early doors with the wide runners desperately trying to get in.
Yeah.
And it just sets up, and at some point they've got to take their medicine. Young Fire we haven't mentioned, for Sean Levy, of course, who's on a quick double, isn't he? I mean, won our first race. That's a horse that's more than talented enough. We didn't show his best behind Blue for You in a couple last time, but he can do it.
How's
Revich
David
is in it.
O'Mara? How's he got all these low draws? Who has he bribed for all these low draws for his horse? He targets this race.
It
we
helps
know.
when you went to 4 in the race, Kate.
I know, but why are they all drawn low? It's great.
It's a
for him.
scattergun. Right, well, Escobar, one of O'Mara's, is in. Is he the last as the camera pans in on William Buick? Last time it did that, he got a whack at Epsom.
Yeah.
But they are away and running. Off we go then. Looks like everything's a level break. Happy days. Orban taken right out the back. Ryan Moore on the Turpinator. Roscoe, he looks like he's in need of a break already. I said
Cut the
that
snout off
pre-race.
him on the rail there, William.
So, Austrian Theory as expected
job.
up there. Uzo up there,
Yeah,
pouring
lovely.
it on for
Good
Robbie
job.
Wilders.
Yeah.
Lawful
Get the rail.
Command up there. On the out, look at Sonny Liston. This is what we mean about the draw. It's absolutely horrible. Where's Shining Blue for Natty Green? Natty gone back here with this one, I think. Pulling for his head. No cover whatsoever. Shinjari's got a nice run. Young Fire up there. What's this on the rails in the cross belts? Let's have a look down. Come on, you lot, help me out
Is that
here.
not blue?
Nat Green had commentators. Is this Blue for You?
Is that not blue for you?
I think Blue for
Oh, the
You is the
colour
one they
change.
change the colours with all
a
the
colour
time.
change,
He's
yeah.
got a lovely sit. Looking for the Fav. Where is he, Kate?
The Fav's sat in box seat second
Oh,
there.
yes.
Wonderful.
We
Some
just need
position.
a
Just make
run
sure
then.
that is blue for you. Why
Positive
have they
out
changed
the
his
back,
colours?
fast medicine out the back. Orban really travels. Look at Sonny Liston, widest of all.
Sonny
Escobar
Liston
gonna
running again,
come.
is he?
Revich out the back. Call it, Robbie.
I think Uzo is going to get swallowed up here.
It couldn't have gone any better for the
Yeah,
Fav. It's just whether he bounces now.
Well, he's
Yeah,
getting-
this is going to be the teller, isn't
Look
it?
at Orban for the closers.
Orban's
He
going
hasn't
well.
got the pace
Go
to
on,
Fav, has he?
Uzo.
Look at the second Fav is
Rebel
blocked up there.
territory
Look
now
at
taking
Fav.
it up.
Blue for
Uzo,
you.
This is one
come
of
on,
my
son.
trifectas. The Fav's blown out.
come
on,
The
Uzo.
Fav has bounced.
Come on.
Lawful
Do
Command
with
there.
this.
Shining
Just
Blue,
yet.
don't do
He's got
his
a gap,
best.
he's
Look
got
at him
it
down the
now.
outside.
Keep digging
Surely
in.
not.
Oh, Orban.
Is this
Uzo, come
positive?
through.
Orban on the inside.
no, he's
going
gonna
to
finish second.
Uzo's
Oh my
up
goodness,
there.
he's
Robbie,
absolutely
oh,
fine.
so close. This is
Fine,
over.
Orban.
Absolutely streaked
Oi.
away with it. Jason Watson,
That's just
all sorts of names he was called after the Berkshire Shadow. Primarily in our gallery, but he has absolutely taken that apart. We said pre-race, he's got to be one for the trifectas, but he rarely wins. What do we know, Barry?
Yeah, he had a Betfair SP of 28. Drawn 2, he was always up with it. He always in a good posse. Traded at a high of 55 on the exchange pre-race. Didn't trade that in running. The favourite, like you said, had a beautiful run through the race and just couldn't find anything when push came to shove. He hit a low of 6-2 in running. Outside of that, the horse that Safi Osborne rode, Uzo, that had a good posse throughout, hit a low of 6.4. You know, the horse to take out of it for me, Harry Davis rode Roscollon, and that was absolutely luckless. Was last turning into the straight and flew at the finish. But yeah, the winner's absolutely danced in.
Okay, yeah. And again, it just shows you why you need that low draw. He's waited, Jason Watson. He travelled throughout. He caught probably was the last off the bridle. Just watching Ross Golden as well. Ross Golden was second in this race last year, going easily but not clear run under Oisin Murphy last year again. He just looked like he didn't want to know. Revich has flown. He's won really well, Revich from stall 15. The Fav, we said, is it the angle fresh? Does he bounce? Kate, he came there with every chance. Didn't let himself down.
No excuses whatsoever. He managed to get to the rail. He cut the snout off. Well, he didn't cut the snout off of no sort of impeding whatsoever by his only sort of market rival there, as we finally figured out the silk changes for Blue For You as well, who's another one where you could be marking up for that run because, yes, he was saving ground the whole way out, but he was screaming for room there on the inside rail. That was why I wanted to take him on because I feared that was going to be the case. He's had to pull out wider and he's run on then, but that's sort of what he does, Blue For You. Really, even with this visor, he continues to run well, but yeah, that is just sort of him all over. But yeah, Revich certainly an eye catcher, and yeah, Ross Collin definitely the other eye catcher coming from further back. Stall 15 and 18 then for those two respectively. Ross Collin held up, got the gaps running on too late then in the day.
You've got to take your medicine, haven't you? You've got to take your medicine. You've done it, you know, heart and shield. All the way.
Uzo's run really well, yeah, no excuses. He's been beaten by a better handicapped horse.
Massively deserves one, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He'll find one, or Bayern eventually found one, so.
Yeah, okay, so you imagine that the winner will now go to York. That's what they tend to do for that aforementioned Clipper Logistics
Wouldn't be guaranteed to back it up, that's for sure.
Came from 33 for that, Dave.
I'm giving you the winner of that, Barry. Haggis wins it.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Price at the moment.
With Golden Voice. What price is Golden Voice for that? Let's have a look in the anti-postman.
I might nick that for the anti-postman next week.
That wins. If you nick that, you can. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
I might nick it.
Your name in the office will be changing.
Yeah.
That's out of order.
What to you?
Yeah. I'm actually doing an
You're
email.
hardly ever in the office anyway.
Do you know what? I can tease that I am going to do an email for our viewers and the Racing Post members about this show next week, and I'm going to mention.
Go ahead, mate.
Is the so I'll get in there first. So if you double up, Tom Kerr will know. All right, just let you know. All right, listen, that was the Golden Mile. It's the third race here this afternoon on Racing Post Live. What fun we're having! What a week it's been, hasn't it? Something for everyone so far. We started off with Nat, of course, in sterling job in the chair with Sumal looking after Keith Melrose doing the commentaries. He loved a bit of control, didn't he, the Quizmaster? G-Rob was fantastic. He should be in Canada now, G-Rob.
Yeah, G was in Canada. Yeah, he's touched in, chatted to him this morning.
Did you?
All settled, yeah.
He's already back on duty?
Yeah, apparently he's cleaned his sore neck up now.
Oh, he had a bad neck?
He had a shaving injury, yeah.
Sheep.
Yeah, he had blood all over his neck the other day.
Why can't that man shave?
I don't know, but...
He bites his fingers as well, you know. We're getting to hold it. He's got terrible fingers.
No, he's been struggling for years to shave, apparently, yeah.
He's always got a cut somewhere.
Nat gave him some hand cream.
I thought you were going to say advice. Anyway, don't go there. Well, she's watching. I'm now in trouble. And of course, yesterday, who did we have? Oh, Ross Briley coming back in's been good fun.
Yeah, he's in the office at the moment. Yeah,
he's
wearing his shorts.
He is. He's got better talent than I have.
He's always tan.
He's on really good form with himself, and I knew the viewers loved him coming back as well. Of course, we've had Charlie Post, had Tom Parkin yesterday. Of course, our weeklies editor. Who was in on the Wednesday? Who was in?
Rodders again. Rodders and Keith.
Oh, it was Rodders and Ross, wasn't it? Of course.
Yeah.
And of course Barry. Now we gave Nat a breather. I've been in Italy. How are you getting the trip, Bazza?
Good, yeah, handy enough. Today and tomorrow. I think it's been a help that we haven't been covering the 5 races or the 6 races that have been shown on ITV, where we took the last one each day.
Yes, there was some conjecture about this, and listen, I'm going to talk about this a little bit. I think we've got time. Has anyone looked at the Saturday card yet?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What, I mean, look.
There's always a bit
all for more races being on, right? But why are we covering the 105 tomorrow at Goodwood on ITV? Isn't it? It's a bit of a
shocker.
Oh, I
isn't
didn't
it?
know that. Yeah. A maiden.
Why not?
We did on the first day as well, Dave. There was a maiden on the first day. That was the opening race.
They're doing it to get me back.
But it's always the Saturday at Goodwood that people always comment on every year at Glorious Goodwood. The fact that the Saturday is just kind of a bit of a tail off at the end of the week, really, because, I mean, your highlight for Lily Langtry and then the Stewards Cup, which, you know, I love. And, of course, from a betting perspective, I personally love the Stewards Cup. But when you have the start of the week then, and it does kind of feel like it sort of
it just
trickles
seems
away
a little bit
on the
odd
Saturday.
that we've got the 105 instead of a later race, potentially.
The
I don't
maiden.
know. Listen, ITV might tell us that these races are really popular.
Well, maybe there's some sort of women's football match after or something, I don't know.
Oh, wait, is that tomorrow, is it?
Sunday, the final.
Sunday for the Lionesses. Yeah, I wonder what price they are.
Taken on Germany. Again, then we've had a prefix today, haven't we?
We have had. Let's hope that doesn't play out, or let's hope it doesn't go to pens. Yeah, it's been a breath of fresh air to see the Lionesses go so far as they have.
Brilliant, yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, brilliant, Barry. And there's a lot said about this time last year. There were loads of flags out and stuff, weren't there, and all that sort of thing. And I haven't seen one flag, you know, so it's a bit weird. Anyway, so let's hope they get the business done. I think they will on Sunday. All right, okay, we've got 2 races to go, and there has been a poll on YouTube. Who will win the King George Qatar Stakes? No Battash, of course, the last couple of years. Charlie Hills is trying to get his crown back in it. The 4-time winner, of course, no more. The poll will be up there very shortly indeed. And I think there's a bit of a hot pot in it, actually. So great to have you watching us this afternoon. Still 2 more races to go. The 4:10 is our last. Then we're back tomorrow with a Stenner panel for you as well. You enjoying your return to the show?
Yeah, been a while, mate. Yeah, I always enjoy these shows. I mean, I must admit, I'm getting hungry.
Are you?
Yeah, I wanted
you
to
get a bit hangry.
I know our producers don't like it when I bring food in, but I could do with a banana or something.
Because you're a gym monkey, aren't you? So
yeah, I'll be going.
And you've got a banana.
Yeah, back on Fridays if you're interested.
All right, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Day.
And Kate, you're with us tomorrow, and you're going to stay in the capital tonight.
Yeah, I am, which is actually quite nice because then I finally get a lie-in in the morning. So yeah,
where are you staying?
Just at a Premier Inn down the road. I know how to splash for cash.
Yeah. Nice area around there.
That's a bit creepy, stroke stalkery.
Come on, I'm not going to go knocking. I'm going to go knocking for Kate.
The route number is.
I've got my own.
What we love about Rob is Barry. He has no filter.
I've got my own plans this evening. Kate's safe.
Gym in, yeah.
And the great thing is, everyone else just saw it as well. Out there.
So they're going to clip it up as well, aren't they?
Lions, I don't get one of them. I don't even know what that is. But who needs one of them, eh? We'll do it.
I certainly do, mate.
We'll do it later
a long
on
week,
in life.
yeah.
All right, okay. So now we've gone for the staying race. We've gone for a mile race. We've gone for another mile race. Now we've got the speedsters.
Sprint. I love sprints.
And you are on fire.
I did actually write the analysis for this, so I'm
because of course you can't pick. Well, I'm glad to hear that because you can't pick and choose, can you, in this business?
Nah, if I had done, I wouldn't have picked that.
No, all right, but this could be your winner coming.
Because Keith's the man for sprints this year.
That's a weird thing, isn't it? Because he's usually it's
staying chases, yeah. I mean, I'm glad he's.
Is he testing himself? Do you think?
Yeah, I think he's doing quite well.
Is it? To be fair. Has he got any of the sprints right?
I don't know. I don't follow his P&L.
We were having a cheeky dig at him on Saturday because he got the draw totally wrong, wasn't it? Was it York or wherever it was? I can't remember where we were saying it was. But anyway, all right, we digress slightly. Tom Segal in his Price-Wise column today, and I wouldn't go quite as far as Tom, but this is me with my sort of English analyser hat on. He said that our British sprinters were moderate.
Yeah, they are.
Moderate.
Yeah.
Moderate is a strong word, Kate.
They are.
Something about you today.
I know, that's it. I'm just sort of up for kicking up a fuss, aren't I? All over the place.
Robbie's taking your filter away.
Yeah, that's why Nature Strip could absolutely kick ours out the way.
More the 5 furlongs, but more so than 6 furlong ones.
But we're lacking a star, aren't we? I was hoping it was going to be Perfect Power, like a lot of other people in the July Cup.
Yeah,
he had excuses there.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had his excuses in the July Cup, didn't he? But the fact that Alcohol Free could come through and win that dropping down in trip, then on good to firm ground, I think just sort of spoke volumes of a sprint division at the minute. And the fact that you could probably say that Russell is the best 5 furlong horse. And that's, he's a wonderful horse. I don't want to doubt him whatsoever. But the fact that 3 starts ago he was beaten in a handicap.
What about Royal Acclaim?
Yes.
Well, we're about to find out with her, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, but
she for my money, she's the best of the lot.
Well, it's a good. There's a tenuous link there, Barry, because the Nun thought will be the one that I think tells us exactly how good our sprinters are, because we're expecting more internationals to come back for that. Highlight of the season will be what at the end of the year, Nature Strip at Royal Ascot. That will definitely be in your top 5. It's great to see. Not just the story about the world opening up and then being able to come up again. It means we're in a much better place, thank God, than we were. But he absolutely tore us a new one, didn't he? And the Aussie sprinters are back. And when I got into racing, we couldn't lay a glove on them. But again, before I was in racing, you had your greats, the great sprinters that we've had, Dejas and all that sort of stuff. And I suppose even Mozart and Stravinsky, when I was getting into racing, were very, very good sprinters. Now we're looking for the up-and-comers to replace them.
Yeah.
Noble Truth is a good horse. Is it Noble Truth? Who's the one that took the Platinum Jubilee?
You're talking about Naval Crown.
Naval Crown.
Naval Crown.
All right. Naval Crown's a good horse and showed that.
Yeah.
He proved himself to be in the July Cup. But how would he fare if he went to the Breeders' Cup or Australia?
And Creative Force, though, they're mile pedigrees, aren't they? They're Dubai. They're not sprinters. So
that's horses that have reinvented themselves on paper.
That dampens the strength of the sprinting form if these milers are coming down. Like if say Baid ran in in a six like the Platinum Jubilee, like he probably would have won that, wouldn't he?
Well, he'll 100% because again.
So I think that's what.
He's the F word, but they said Frankel could always drop back to 6. Of course, the great horses can do it, and in foreign jurisdictions, I don't know if I told you before, but I have been down under and watched some racing. They do.
Mark that off on the bingo card, Kate.
It only took the 4th day of Glorious Goodwood for that to get a mention. I've done well to hold it in.
How many times have you been to Australia?
I have. But
how many times?
I don't know.
I'd love to go there.
5 or 6. But I spent a year and a bit there. I spent a year and a bit there. Yeah. But anyway, I've got a brother-in-law that lives down there as well.
Was that when you were with Basement Jacks?
No, never went on tour with them there. No, I didn't do much touring with them, unfortunately. I missed the boat there. There's a sliding door of me still doing it with them somewhere. But they experiment with trips getting back to the point, Robbie Wilders, a lot more than we do. And we get sneered at it for doing it here. Some trainers do it quite a lot. Mick Appleby is known for his trainers. Mick Appleby, Barry, says that Russell is the best horse he's ever trained. He's been saying that since, of course, he won at Sandown last time. Does he win this for your money?
Yeah, well, he's going through the gears, isn't he? You know, he's graduated from handicap company into listed class in Haydock, won that, and then made a step forward again into Group 3 class in Sandown, and is here with a favourites chance in a Group 2 in Glorious Goodwood. He's 4.2 currently on the exchange. Mitbahi 6.4, 8.4 Lazuli. On toss is 13.5, 9.2 Aklam Express. Equilateral 13.5. Obviously, that race in Sandown holds the key. Mitbahi, I thought Raza got first run that day. Mitbahi was a little bit unlucky in running, and Equilateral got no run whatsoever. He's 13.5. But the horse I like in the Kate is Lazuli for William Buick and Charlie Appleby. He won the Betfair Palace House Stakes in last May. He's won a Group 2 in Maidan on his second of 2 starts over there earlier this year. Then his first run up this season was in Ascot behind Nature Strip in the King's Stand. And he carried his penno there as well, his group penalty. I think 5 furlongs on good to firm ground. He'll come on a ton for that run. And I think he's a really, really live chance here today. So what we're going to do is we're going to back him, please, in the win and place market. 25 quid win at 8.4. Happy to be a price taker here. And then in the 3 places on Betfair Exchange, you can bet 2, 3 or 4 places here. We're just going to look in the standard 3-place market, currently trading at around a 2-to-1 mark, 2.92. We're going to have 25 quid on that as well, please, Kate. So,
perfect.
Lazuli, win and place, 25 quid each.
Wonderful.
There you go. OK, so we're getting through who we think will be the best of the sprinters. Whatever you think of the division in this race, the uncomplicated Lazuli for Barry then, who is now belatedly going for the hat-trick of his selections today. Another sterling day for Bazza so far. Now, 40% of you out there think that the Fav Raza will take this in the poll. Thanks for taking part of that. But I wanted to pick up this social. And Mr. Rosa, 10 comes on. Royal Acclaim will be the best sprinter over the next 2 years. There is already a star. Oh, OK, so you're with Barry all the way. The Nunthorpe is a procession. Barry, that's a bit strong. You're with him.
Not a procession, but 3-year-old filly, there's a lot to like about her, isn't there, Dave? We've seen her on the show a couple of times. And last day we were all with her, and she absolutely skewed it in. Beat a good yardstick, although you think that Winter Power is underperforming a bit recently. But I think this horse is really going in the right direction. Probably had no right to win last day, but was well punted too. And they immediately nominated the Nunthorpe. So Nunthorpe's shaping up to be a nice enough race, but I think this horse could be real special. The market suggests as well. She's a clear favourite on the sportsbook, isn't she? And she started off at Newcastle in May last year. We didn't see her for a long time. And that's probably why she went under people's radar a little bit, because she then appeared at Bath in June. And again, just another novice. Even the Newcastle race, though, Dave, when you look at that, what she had in behind that day.
Perfect Power, of course. He's the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. But even Fearby, who was 4th, was a very good horse at the time. And she beat the favourite Rabasta that day. She then beat a horse called Frisky, who's since come out and won since, over Simon Pearce at Bath. Kept it low-key there, one as she liked. But it's the Racing Post races have jumped at least £20 each time. Now, the only horse in here that could possibly do this, that sort of progression, is probably Rarsol, isn't it? But as Barry said, at Sandown last time, definitely got the run on Mitbahi. Now, Mitbahi's a pound worse off, believe it or not. But if you factor in that, that trouble that it found from stall 1, usually a really good draw there at Sandown, but it's levelled out recently. You have to think that Mitbahi might reverse that form. I do. Anyway.
I think he will. Yeah, definitely. And also, you could say Equilateral was unlucky in that race in 6th as well. Had to come pretty wide.
Social agrees as well as Barry does as well, because Will comes on. Will, welcome. Mitbahi, my nap of the day in this. Unlucky at Sandown, should reverse the form with Rarsol. I've gone for Mitbahi in this. 3-year-olds do tend to win this race, believe it or not. I'm trying to find the last one to do it. I will get that up just in a sec as I move on from the Golden Monster up on my machine. It was, of course, last year, Sueza. Batash then as a 3-year-old, and Moviesta. So you don't have to be absolute world of Group 1. But I love this horse. My slight worry about him is the track here. And stall 4.
Quite sharp.
It's because Sandown's got that little slightly stiffer finish. Yeah. But has one at Hamilton, again slightly climbing. Thirsk, slightly climbing.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, look at his pedigree as well. He's related to sort of group winners over a mile 2 in the US.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, so, but, is obviously a very quick horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quick.
But the one thing we've got in our favour, Rob, because I'm assuming you've got this on top of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Mitbahi's my selection.
The one thing we've got in our favour is that the Czechoslovakian speedster that is Pontos and Frankie Dettori are drawn in 6, so we're 2 off him. We just tag on, right? And
yeah, big time, yeah.
It's that simple. It's over.
It's going to be easy, mate. I mean, this is horses. He didn't do loads as a juvenile, but this year he's really turned the corner. I think he's unlucky not to be coming here on a 4-timer, seeking a 4-timer. And if he won last time, there's absolutely no doubt he'd be favourite, I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what are you getting? Was that 6.2 That's a big old price for me.
Yeah, that is much bigger. That suggests that punters have put off him slightly. I must admit, I did find it quite hard to take on Rarsol. I thought the market had this kind of about right. Kate?
Yeah, I mean, originally, when I first started looking at this race, I was looking at that Sandown form line, looking at the charge. And I know that that's the obvious place to start with, because Rarsol is this vastly improving horse since the horse watchers managed to get a hold of him, and they've just taken him into a whole other stratosphere with Rarsol, and hence why he may well in this race prove himself to be one of the best sprinters that we actually have in this country. And I can completely see that Mitbahi was hugely unlucky in that. I fancied Mitbahi for that race. He was pinned in. We know how luckless you can be on the sprint track at Sandown there, and he was certainly one of those. And now he's actually £1 worse off with Rarsol, but he was notably eye-catching, same as Equilateral as well then. But I was going down the Mitbahi route to start with, where I just thought, well, he was so unlucky, he's the way to go for. And then I started thinking, gosh, I'm not very keen on this division at the minute. So what actually has the best form in this race? And the best form in this race is Acclam Express.
It
has
Tracey,
to be
you've stolen my next line.
Sorry, stealing the thunder then. Because I know he was 200 to 1 for the King's Stand. You can understand why he was 200 to 1. There was no fluke about that third place finish, though. He was well able to go the pace then with Nature Strip from quite a way out within that. And that was the second time he's finished third in a Group 1 in the last 16 months. Admittedly, the other time was at Meydan, out in Meydan in the Group 1 out there. But he just has the strongest form in this race. We don't have a Nature Strip in here. So I thought that Acclam Express is, again, probably being underestimated in this. Slightly concerned about stall 10. Not on form from this week, where against the Sandside Row hasn't been a bad place to be, but the better ground is with the low draws.
And where the likely front runners are. I mean, you've got Lazuli, a horse that can go up there. Again, this is ding ding round 2 between Acclam Express and Lazuli. That's Barry's selection. So you've got a little bit of a height there. The one thing I would say about it wasn't total surprise to me that Acclam Express enjoyed Ascot more than they did Meydan, because if you watch back that Meydan run, he's doing all his best work at the finish. He's a course and distance winner here as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing, yeah.
That was in a nursery off 77, though.
He's still proving himself.
He has, yeah. I think this horse prefers stiff 5 or 6.
Finally, the loving is over. They're finally disagreeing with each other. You've removed Kate's filter today, and this is what you get, you see. Absolutely, you tell him. And again, it's still proven on the track. A C and a D is still a C and a D.
Well, go on then.
No matter if it won a seller, it's still proven on the track. If there is one in here that could cause the. I tell you what, there's two egg on face horses for me here. Qatar is one, who in the Scurry Stakes, which has got form in this race. He just didn't show his best. He's installed 2. Tom Marquand's on. First time cheek pieces could just be the key to this horse. He's talented enough to do it. And I'd forgive that run last time, but he is an expensive horse to follow. I get that. And the aforementioned Equilateral, who proved himself this season that he doesn't have to be best first time out, and he was a little bit unlucky, wasn't he, behind Russell? He's just drawn right on the wing.
Yeah, he's just turned in.
I don't like my wings.
He turned in a slightly disappointing effort in Ireland last time.
I feel slightly forgive that though.
Well, actually, it's not bad effort at all. To be fair, I was on holiday.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad. That was behind our movie Esther, Barry.
I can't believe Ladies Church didn't. I mean, she just flopped at Ascot, didn't she?
Yeah, but she's always been thought to be a group. She just came good on the day. If you use movie Esther as a benchmark, and you are doing the handicapping stuff now, and all this RPR.
Not the sprints.
No, okay, all right.
Bear that in mind. Not my area of expertise.
There is room for growth.
Yeah.
As we are finding out.
Yes.
For all of us.
Aren't we
Kate's
learning an
enjoying
awful
that.
lot? Yeah. You are growing as a person throughout
It's a
this
journey,
entire show.
Rob.
Yeah, okay.
It's a journey. Absolutely. We haven't mentioned Khaadem, of course, really yet. Who we haven't seen since winning the Palace House, have we? And he was given a really good ride that day by Buick. He sort of broke a lot of horses mid-pace, but he's one that might get on with it as well from stall 7. So if you're in Acclam Express with Kate Tracey and Tom Seagull as well, you'll be hoping that the pace is all around you. All right. Oh, yes, of course, the Members Club. If you're not a member of the Racing Post, this week is a good time to do it. You've got until the end of August, that's Sunday, to get 50% off your first 3 months. Subscribe today. $17.48. That's all for 3 months. You get all the unparalleled stuff at the Racing Post, of course, digital newspaper before it comes out in the shops, and at 9 p.m. each evening. You get to read.
That is some value,
Wilders.
that. Not for reading my own stuff, but the membership gives you outstanding
Spotlights.
access.
They're the best in the business, aren't they?
Yeah. Brilliant
The analysis.
insight,
Yeah.
replays.
All the quotes,
Yeah.
everything, absolutely. All the all the behind the paywall stories is all there. Anyway, look, crazy offer still out there for you. 50% off your first 3 months. As we watch Frankie Dettori. How's Frankie doing this week? That's another thing I need to catch up with. Forest Falcon.
Yeah.
Did he win the first race?
The very first one, because I remember saying, when he's got a point to prove because of Stradivarius later on in the card, of course, Frankie's going to come out and win the first.
And then he was chinned
didn't
on
have his
Kinross.
finest out on Samaram in the Oak Tree Stakes.
What happened there then?
I was all over. Should have won, really.
So you're pocket talking?
Yeah, a little bit, mate. Yeah.
Everyone does that with Frankie.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that was a bit
I did see that. It got mullered in the run,
Yeah,
and it was a typical Goodwood like story. And he's been on a 72 shot Natasha. That didn't fire, did
No,
it, for
that
Gosden?
didn't fire at all, yeah.
On state occasion, that was the final race, wasn't it, on the Wednesday?
Blue Trail.
And then Blue Trail went close yesterday,
Kinross.
so
Kinross
an
was
all right
probably
week so
unlucky.
far. Yeah.
I thought he was unlucky anyway.
He hasn't been on the world, has
No.
he? And he's on Pontus here. If you watch the Nature Strip run, he just basically teed it up for that in Acclam Express, didn't he? So,
I love this.
This is a
Pontus.
quicker track. We often see this, don't we? The Malcolm, for example, is usually a race where horses that are beaten at Royal Ascot that fade, like Warbank, I suppose, who's placing it. They much prefer this test.
Yeah,
don't
raw
we?
speed test.
I wonder, are we slightly overlooking Pontus, therefore?
Yeah, I love him. I think he's great. To be fair, the fact that the tactics last time out, they are his tactics in general, but Thomas Lukasek decided it was a good idea to try and go with Nature Strip. And
I've got a bit of theory on that.
and the American
I think that he wanted to lead Golden Pal, and he was hell-bent to lead Golden Pal. Golden Pal didn't come out.
No, I know he didn't
ended
jump
up just
well,
going way too hard.
But what I'm going to do, when I have Golden Pal and Nature Strip against me in a sprint, I'm going to try and beat them to the furlong marker. Not the best ploy.
That's the cap I want. But it's great, again, great to see the internationals coming back for this. Let's get another social up. Steve M joins the show and says, I've looked at it from every angle, and it's equilateral for me.
This man's
Love
just
that.
dropped another pun.
Love
Very
that.
nice.
Puntastic out there we are, absolutely. It's crazy Goodwood week. Let's keep them coming in. Well, listen, good luck. I hope you've backed it in every way you can as well out there. Lots of ways to do that. It's a great thing that we're learning about the show. Barry will teach you how to lock in your profits and all that sort of thing, but it is for charity along the way. And we should remind people, Barry, if this trophy was able to teleport its way to Dublin, I think, like William Buick, you're leading the week.
It's a hollow victory, Dave. A hollow victory.
Well, next Saturday, you get your opportunity to come in and actually get your hands on it as well, because you are coming over, Barry, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I'm coming over next Saturday. Looking forward to the Shergar Cup. Never thought I'd hear myself say that, but yeah, I am.
We are giving a bit of a welly show to the Shergar Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's a welly
Murphy's
show?
coming in.
Oh.
Paul Keeley's going to be back, second year
Keely's
in a row.
doing this show.
Keeley's doing
he never
the show
does
again.
this show.
He did. It's because he does a lot of other
Before the
shows.
Shergar
Yeah,
Cup as
true.
well.
And Keels to do 3 hours, it's a tough old stint.
it was tough enough for us
We have to
20,
save our battles with
20-something-year-olds.
Keels. But you've been seeing quite a bit of him this week, of course. But you're going to get treated to. He did the Shergar Cup last year as well.
Did he?
Tis
Does he
marvellous
like
going
the
for another
Shergar Cup?
repeat win.
Do you like the Shergar Cup? Yeah?
Do you know what? I fall in and out of love with the Shergar Cup. Yeah, I don't know. I think at COVID it was quite important, wasn't it, to show we could still get it together again. And another mention that. I think one of the first race meetings I went to at Ascot was a Shergar Cup. I remember, and I think I did all right in it. But then you go through. You back a Japanese jockey that's never been over 2 miles before and goes off like a sprinter or something like that. And I don't know you, but look, it's a concept. It's not for everyone. We also have racing at Newmarket next week as well. But the champion jockey, 3-time champion jockey, will be in with us, Oisin Murphy, along the way, and it's going to be pretty special to watch that. Paul Keeley, myself, and Barry as well. Do not miss that. It's an early start. It's a long old show. Fireworks expected, but still 2 races to come here at Glorious Goodwood and tomorrow as well. Have you haven't backed anything in the Stewards Cup then?
I'll back Summergand.
Oh yes,
yeah, I like Summergand, yeah, but it's more of a speculative
He's
one.
a great friend to this studio. We've given him some proper roars, haven't we, including when he won the race.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there then, but.
No, I'm telling you, that's what I'm telling you.
God, sorry, I thought you were saying we collective, like me and you.
No.
Yeah.
We've not had many roars collectively on this show.
I'm not much of a roarer when I'm watching racing.
How do you celebrate?
I'm just more
What was the last big
I kind of
celebration
keep like
you had?
level-headed.
What was the last big jump out of the sofa?
Probably.
Doesn't happen.
It must have been Mykonos or
Oh,
something.
hang on. No. I know what it was.
It's been in
It must have been schoolboy hours, mustn't it, in the Paddy
Oh,
Power
yeah,
Chase?
that was nice, yeah.
Because it was your
I needed that
breakthrough.
for the postman, yeah.
You badly needed that.
All right, mate, I didn't badly need it. Let's not make out like the geezer's
With
desperate.
a capital B, let me tell you, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't out the park selection.
Yeah, it was.
Won that one, honestly.
Yeah, you.
Welcome winner. You're a bit rude to the
I
man
wasn't
there.
desperate,
Listen,
mate. Come on.
listen,
I mean, you did send me a nice message, didn't you?
Honestly, when I saw how this week was going to
Yeah.
pan out, and I was like, right, who's Nat got on the first day, second day, third? Looked at the Friday and I went,
Oh,
Yeah, but what, you
I
don't bring
know, but you're on
Kate.
the
thanks.
Saturday.
Thanks, bring
Oh.
me into this.
No, but you do get your pecker up for these Fridays. I know you do. And it's good to have you on these lives. 'cause
Friday's
you're-
best day of the week, isn't it, really?
Well, it absolutely is, yeah.
I mean, don't have to work on the weekend. Well, you two do.
I was going to say, yeah, speak for
You
yourself.
got stuff on.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, quite right. And Barry as well. It's a long old stint, but we love these festivals. And if you love it, like and subscribe out there as well. Let's get the subscriptions up. They always go through the roof during the festivals as well. Right. Finally, how long are they? Just a minute over.
Tell you what.
It's pretty good going. It's pretty good going.
I've been listening to
Keeping
what
my
we've been
cool.
saying.
Keeping my cool. They didn't have very far to go, really, did they?
Well, this was the one where we should have gone
Yeah,
off
that's a good
time, and we're
point,
still going to be 2 minutes over. But in we go then. Good luck wherever you're playing. No Batage, no Swayzer. Is there a Group 1 horse lurking? Could it
Mitbai.
be Russell? We're hoping it's
Go on the
Mitbai.
Aklam.
Let's see him win by 4 lengths.
Blink, can you miss it this race? Over we go. We're expecting
Pontus, Pontus.
Pontus to come out. I'll tell you what, he didn't break that well, the Czechoslovakian horse. But the first
So
thing to
fast for him,
say, we have
going
one
to
horse
the
sticking
centre.
stand side,
Going centre.
Vitingus. This is Sean Levy and Brian Meehan, because Frankie has gone right down the middle. Could this be a
Wow.
precursor to tomorrow's Stewart Cup? Lazuli up there. His old rival Aklam Express, covered in sweat. Bit keen as well, tracking him along the way. Equilateral marooned on the far side. Katura there. Rarsol off the bridle. Where's Mitbai, Rob?
Yeah, he's just back there, but he's moving quite nicely.
Oh, he's going
I think
really well,
he's
isn't
going
he?
to win this, yeah.
I like him. David Egan's going to have to come and try and come stand side. I think we might have this.
Oh.
He's the
Mitbai
finisher.
stays
Come
well
on,
over
Mitbai.
5.
They've all gone far side. Pontus is still there.
I don't think he's gonna win it now.
Lazuli still there. Clarendon House. Vatingus all over the place.
yes,
Aklam
I
Express
know.
who finishes. We're looking for the far side. Look at Rarsell bursting through. Rarsell's absolutely coming, but is he going to get it? No, he's not. It looks like Khaadem's going to do it, is it?
Well.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
Ryan Morse. He's off
Coming
Khaadem.
across.
All
Decent
on
run
the
from
far
Mitbai.
side. Could that be a precursor to low numbers 320 Saturday for the Stewards Cup? Barry, when did they know?
Yeah, flipping hell. Khaadem for Ryan Moore, Betfair Ambassador Ryan Moore. Betfair SP of 10.5, traded at a high of 14. That was pre-race. That wasn't in the race. Your runner-up Brazil only hit a low of 4. Aklam Express 6.6. There was nothing really else there. Lazuli threatened for a moment. Wasn't placed at the finish. Trade at a low at 3.2. Mitbahi never really got into it from the back, 4.3. So, yeah, no real in-running news there other than Khaadem and Ryan Moore.
Yeah, and again, when he won at the Palace House, which is when we last saw him on the 30th of April.
Betfair Palace House, yeah.
Yeah, he sort of tore off that day, but this time he's been ridden with more restraint. And I'll tell you what,
Frank's St. Lawrence form as well.
I was going to say St. Lawrence for tomorrow, 20-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching this. This is, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. He goes in the big one.
Yeah.
Rarsell, he's still a horse to be with. Rarsell, he's hit the line hard, hasn't he?
He's a wonderful horse.
He's just been done by a quick horse. You watch Rarsell, if you're on the favourite, he wasn't really going early. Mitbahi's not been the best away, Rob, but again, we've got excited at one point.
We're on 7.
Yeah.
You want to be up the. You want to be up the middle to the far side, don't you?
Yeah.
It looks
That's
that
where the
way.
better ground was.
Everyone shunned the near rail.
And the interesting thing was, Vertingus, who probably has done a bit too much, if I got that right, the pronunciation of him, vertiginous. Oh, come on, Dave, this must be better
Vertiginous.
Vertiginous, thank you,
know what that
Robbie.
means?
Phonetically, stop it. You're going to tell me.
Go on, give me a minute to Google it.
You Google away. He's done too much on the near side, but the two horses that made their effort towards the near side, I mean, Mitbahi is like pudding home.
It's quite obvious, really, what vertiginous means.
Yeah.
I just think like vertical is just something quite high up.
Well, okay.
Vertiginous.
Charlie Hill's some record in the race now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
With Batash winning it about 1 million times, and now this one getting on the board.
5 of the last 7.
He needed
he's
that
got
win,
his crown
though, Charlie,
back.
hasn't he?
It goes back to Lambourne, and Ryan Moore delivers this on the line, so loads of people would have been with it. The interesting thing was, we knew that Pontus was going to lead. Frankie's gone right down the middle. I don't know. Is that a precursor? Unfortunately for the Stewards Cup tomorrow, the consolation race, which we'll be covering on the show, there's only 12 declared. So usually you get an eye on where it is and all the odds start crashing and all that sort of stuff. We're not going to have that luxury this time around. Now, this chap is in the Nunthorpe, Barry.
Yeah, he is. He's in the Nunthorpe for sure, and he's 10 from 20.
Right, so halved in price for that.
That Nunthorpe.
Do you know what? He's an interesting horse, this, because they thought the world of him as a 3/4-year-old, and he very nearly won in that COVID year, the Diamond Jubilee, and it just never went his way. He's obviously changed ownership. Shadwell got rid of him before the dispersal, but he's on his way back, and Charlie Hills has absolutely waved the magic wand with him. I still think there is a very good prize.
Winner he was back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So another one that acts
Yeah.
at the track then. But do you remember him in the King's Stand, though? The fact he reared coming out of the stalls. I can't remember who was riding that day, but they got banged off the stanchion, off the top.
Of course.
And got left there. So at least he's
He
behaved
didn't go in at
himself
Royal
in the
Ascot.
stalls.
That's why we didn't see him. Of course.
Yeah.
Was it Jim
Oh,
Crowley?
no,
that
I
was
think
on?
he went in, but he reared on as the stalls opened, didn't he?
I think it was Jim, because he rides a lot for the Hayes,
And
doesn't
he got stuck. Whoever was riding him got stuck in the stalls, got an awful fall from it. But yeah,
Unless
so he's made
Shadwell
up
had
for
it,
that.
It would have been him. All right, okay.
Yeah, so he's made up for it.
Well, the favourites haven't done so well this afternoon, have they? But Rarsell, I tell you what, if I was Mick Appleby and the Horse Watchers, and knowing them as I do, they'll probably be looking at Ascot now, stiffer finish, maybe the Flying Five at the Curragh for Rarsell.
that?
He's definitely got.
Yeah.
Look at him here. Look, he's given that winner 4 lengths at around about 1.5 furlongs. He just can't go to pace. I love horses that keep finishing despite the fact the races go wrong for them.
Yeah.
And again, you go back to Sandown last time when he beat Mitbahi. He looked off the
He's
bridle
in the
then as well.
Nunthorpe as well. Do you
Yeah.
think they'd go there with him, Dave, like being Yorkshire lads?
Well, the temptation, absolutely.
point,
Yeah, you
yeah.
might be right.
Or like I say, or with the Abbey, because we know he acts on softer ground.
But the one time he's been beaten for them, apart from his debut, was of course there. Of course, he got bumped at the start that day. I think it's too sharp for him personally.
Yeah.
Look, you want something with a bit of a finish, at a Curragh or Ascot or something like that. And
Or long shot.
Mick Appleby will. I mean, look, the one thing that horse watchers have got right over the years is not just buying these horses that have got scope at the sales for pittance and then getting them to their right handicap mark. They've also got the trainer right.
Yeah.
Mick Appleby is the best in the business at that. And you can see why they think it's the best horse that he's ever trained. And Dan Zeno, his old stable star, used to go to Ascot and try and win that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Champions Day. But that was a bit of a treat, wasn't it? It was a fascinating race to watch. Let's hope you found the winner. Let us know if you do. We've got one more coming your way this afternoon. And there's a right hot pot in the 4:10 for Godolphin. William Buick looking to extend his lead during the week. Rebels Romance. Let's move on then. As we always do, as your final result, Khaadem beats Rarsell. Qatar, who we mentioned, could run well. Where the wind's coming from, we don't know. And Lazuli, the closest to get up there was Barry, who's having some day. Rebel Romance, the question is, Barry, are you with or are you a layer?
Yeah, no, I'm a convert to Rebel Romance. I was giving Max Vega a bit of a chance, but what we're going to do with Rebel Romance, we're going to look to back by lengthening our odds, please. Obviously, that run behind Kamari, the reopposing Kamari, it just marked him out his first run on turf as a really, really smart horse. So, like I said, Kate, what we're going to do is we're going to lengthen our odds here. So, if you look at the top bar there, there's lengthen your odds. Rebel Romance to win by a length or more is 11-10, but to win 2 lengths or more is 7-4. We're going to take the 7-4 Rebel Romance, 2 lengths or more, and have 25 quid on that to win.
Perfect. Gotcha.
Oh, and I see you've
That's
come.
our last play of the day. Thank you, Kate.
No worries.
Look, I've had a bit of fun with you, Barry, but you went up on that 4-timer with his length and I was back Barry in the last. It didn't come good on Saturday, but nothing went good for anyone on Saturday.
Came good yesterday again.
Ah, yes. Don't worry, I was going to give you the praise. I was getting in there. That's one clip I did see. We championed that one. Nashwa, despite the fact everything went wrong for her in the race, she still showed herself to be probably one of the best fillies around, didn't she?
Yeah, but does that say loads? Like, sorry, it's quite negative. Is she much better than 115 approximately? Though?
You're downing on the fillies division.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but she's a very good horse, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
But you just want
that wasn't a
fillies
vintage Nassau,
to keep their form.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting what John said afterwards. John Gosling, the trainer, you can't ask much more of a filly to go and win the races that she has.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Yeah, I like her a lot, but was it a vintage Nassau?
It was a funny race, wasn't it? They sort of went slow and then sprinted and... It was, anyway, she showed herself to be a very good horse. I was worried about her in the run, watching the first furlong, thinking, that can't have been the plan, even though she was in stall 9 and she had to tuck in. But anyway, she was much the best, wasn't she? 4th Group 1 winner of the year for John and Thady.
Ticking along, yeah. I mean, Nashwa probably would go close in something like the Prix de l'Opera, I reckon.
Yeah. Would you? Yeah, you wouldn't stretch her out to mile 4, would you? So she could be Breeders' Cup, maybe. She's definitely a big old girl, isn't she, Kate?
Oh yeah, she's really sizable. Like I say, you wouldn't look at her and say, "Oh, that's a 3-year-old filly," if you're thinking she was a colt. But it is this division, the 3-year-old filly division, from the mile, 7 furlongs actually, I should include, up to a mile 4. I find this year very confusing. I cannot tell if they're good or terrible, to be honest with you. I really don't know.
By now, usually.
Yeah, I should have a handle on this form by now, but my gut feeling is it's not a great bunch. And the fact that they just keep beating each other. Not Nashwa, though. We're taking Nashwa out of it, why I think she's going to go on to prove to be
She'll stick against the fillies by all accounts, though, won't she?
Yeah, that's what they were saying, is there's no point in going out.
Maybe take him on as a 4-year-old, the boys.
Yes.
She'll be back, though, I think. That's a great
I think
thing.
that's what they've said, haven't they, is that they're very sporting, so to bring her back again, which is great. And she's just getting better with each of her runs as well. The fact that she managed to defy that in that race yesterday, when the race really slowed up then before it then turned into a sprint, and she was able to quicken in that moment from further back, which wasn't the place to be in that race, and still run out a good winner. The sectionals were brilliant of that race as well. So yeah, I think that she is the standout filly of that division. The rest of them, sort of when your Tenebrism comes out and goes and does what she does then, and then obviously we don't know really where we are with Tuesday as much. Emily Upjohn, very disappointing the other day after being too keen.
Back to the drawing board.
I'm just not entirely sure what to make of the 3-year-old fillies.
Well, we got Homeless Sons to come out, as we said. She's the one that we're hoping, that the Master of Rosewell, waves his one with. She could just be the one. But the clashes are what we want. We had it in the Goodwood Cup at the start of the week. We need to see more of them, don't we? And fair play to him for running True Shell on that ground, even though it was, probably not ideal for him. He just goes back to the Champions Day and probably wins if Kit Prios doesn't go there. Again, when's Kit Prios going to show his level? That's something else to talk about, isn't it? He keeps looking beaten, doesn't he? He keeps pulling it out.
Another Yates.
You think so, Barry? Just keeps on improving.
Yeah, he'll go back for a Gold Cup. He could win 4 Gold Cups and match Yates.
Yeah. The fact he's already won one now as a 4-year-old.
King of the stayers. All right, okay.
I think he goes Irish St. Ledger, doesn't he? I think that was the next talk for him.
Does he?
I think so.
Who, Kiprios?
Yeah, I think that was for talk, because then Stradivarius is going to go Lonsdale Cup.
Well, there's a bit of a...
Kiprios is going...
It's the decision, isn't it? There's a bit of a lag now between that and Ascot, isn't there, really? You've got the Cadran and things like that, but...
And then that's True Chance.
Yeah, well,
so,
and again, that
I don't think the 3 will meet again.
He'd get his ground there for sure,
yeah.
Anyway. But the staying division is alive, and maybe like the sprinting division. We're having a bit of a pop, aren't we? But this is what we do at this stage of the season. us racing
You know what, with
insiders.
the sprinting division, one thing I would say about it, there's no standout, but they're exciting races.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they all keep beating each other.
And like I'm going to show you with my selection in the Stewards' Cup when we get to it tomorrow, I like to get a sprinter and follow them through the season. I like to pick one at the start of the season that I think is going to...
Who have you picked?
Dance. I'm not telling you now, Kate.
Please.
Mr. Wagyu, is it?
Yeah, I bet it's Mr.
not
Wagyu
the,
for this
it's
time
not
of
the
year.
tasty Wagyu. I love Mr. Wagyu. But again...
Can you give us a clue so I
Mr.
can guess
Wagyu
it?
is a great case in point of what I mean here because you know when they win.
Yeah, this time of year.
And you're off at this time of year in the case of Mr. Wagyu. Only this time of year. But you watch these horses and you're like, right, like we were talking about in the previous race, Russell probably needs a stiffer finish. You know, this horse probably needs that. This horse probably needs that. One day you'll get it all. And you've been watching them more than anyone else, and you tend to get that day in the sun. It tends to be a juicy price as well. I think I might have it in the Stewards' Cup, and I'm very happy to see that the far side was maybe favoured. So.
Is that going to be the only clue you're going to give us?
That's it.
Let's start naming names then.
That's it. You can start naming names.
Oh, no,
You'll
I
not
know
get
who
it
it
out of
is.
me, Wilders.
Actually, you did say it. Oh, what shout I just don't remember.
No, of course.
I was a million miles away
That
then.
would have gone straight through that cauliflower head of yours without.
Cauliflower.
The question is now, are we all weighing in with the hot barrier on this hot pot, Rebels Romance, who proved himself on turf last time, albeit in a race, I think, where so many others had lots to prove?
Not for me. I mean, I was impressed with Rebels Romance in Fred Archer last time, but I think he's way too short, to be honest.
Well, he beat Kamari, who reopposes.
Yeah, this is a stronger race, though.
Kamari, I think
Rigorality's a good horse.
We can all agree that he's not what we thought he might be, Kamari. Stowell, he's just caught between trips.
Yeah.
And Universal Order ran too bad to be true. But he proved himself on turf. He's trained by them. Godolphin won the race last year. The other Godolphin horse is Global Storm, who's been...
Them got it wrong in the Golden Mile.
Yeah, but they did. They did, but that, a bounce factor came in there. I thought Regal Reality was one of the each-way bets of the week in this race.
1-2 or so, isn't it?
On top. I think
Goodwood 1-4.
Rebels Romance, I think, has to be fav, but at odds on not for me because he just ran his race in a race where others didn't last time.
Yep.
So this is tougher. Regal Reality, he hadn't broke slowly at Sandown last time, probably would have won.
Oh, yeah, you should have. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That is of some concern, but 7-year-old Desert Encounter, who's the old man of the party at the grand old age of 10, he won this as a 7-year-old. Forgotten Voice, Nicky Henderson won this race as an 8-year-old in 2013. So
Moore says in his piece that he thought he was really crying out for the step up and trip the way he's been finishing off the mile and the quarter races, you know.
And he's against horses, Barry, who are dropping down in trip. Like John Leaper, who...
who knows what trip he wants?
Oh, stop.
You know, Kamari, the Queen's Vase winner. Frankie's on him, that'll be interesting. Fancy Man was one I hovered over, but he just didn't quite do it for me. Global Storm wants further, I think. That was your beer last time. In a decent race on the July course. I think he does want a bit further, and I actually think he could be playing in the Ebor, actually, so I wonder if they're just keeping him going for that.
I was giving Max Vega a chance, but absolutely friendless in the market.
Yeah.
After losing the leg, he's out. On the exchange. He's out 32. Would you believe? And he has been matched relatively low. Like when I was looking at him when we first went up with the race, he was a 12-1 chance, and 10-1 in places. He's been matched at a low of 13 on the exchange, but now he's out to 34. I don't know what the excuse for that is.
That's a ridiculous price, isn't it, Barry? I like Max Vega.
He has his holds-ups. That's something that I know.
Recently?
Yeah, I remember Kevin Stott was due to ride him. He was jocked to ride him. I spoke to Kevin when he won the John Smith's Cup that weekend at York, and he was actually really looking forward to riding this horse, and he didn't turn up.
Okay,
which suggests that he's not... But he's a horse that used to like soft ground. He won the... what's the mile 2?
Zetland
Stakes. Last time I ever say, thank God you're here.
I'm all right with things like that, mate.
Yeah, you've done really well there.
Thanks.
That's very, very good considering you're.
No, I know Newell's quite well. I like him. I was thinking maybe because he's had 77 days off, that might have been an advantage because he obviously seems to go quite well fresh. Won on his return, beating Raymond Tuss, beating.
It's a bit of a surprise that he and, albeit 10, Desert Encounter are as big as they are in this race.
I thought this was a sighter to return to the Ebor, where he finished 5th in it last year off a marker 106. He's running off a 109 here. I personally thought that this race was more just a tilt towards the Ebor for Max
Like it.
Vega.
I'd say there's more than that, though, Kate, the way his price is. The way he's gone from 12 out to 33. Like, I'd say there's a little bit more to it than that. I'd say he's probably held up in his work or something. We're obviously not hearing about it, but I'd say there's more to it than meets the eye with this drift.
Well, hopefully I can back that up. Like I say,
amazing.
Kevin was expecting to ride it on John Smith's John Smith's Cup weekend, and he didn't turn up. So it suggests that all has not been totally well since we saw him behind Strad when they met at York. Of course, he did win on his return, Max Vega. And yeah, like I said, we're all fans of the horse, aren't we? But I just thought there were 3 horses in here that were probably, going to show their A game. Rebels Romance being one, just don't like the price. Regal Reality, it'll be interesting to see. The trip is the question mark, isn't it? But he likes this track. Stall 7, he'll be dropped out. Ryan will try and deliver him late. And needed it in the Hardwick, or the Wolverton, wasn't it, when he came back?
Yeah, Wolverton.
Yeah. And then last time probably should have won. So I think he's the one at 9-2. And Fancy Man was the other one I thought that would run his race. The rest of them, I can find reasons why they shouldn't be here.
It's a better race than favourites price suggests.
We need a fav to win today, people will be saying out there, don't they? Has one gone in yet? I don't think it has at Goodwood, has it?
No, we haven't, have we? We have 14 to 1, 11 to 2, 20 and 8.
What a contrast to yesterday, of course. Rocket Rodney was a lot of people's idea of the banker, wasn't it, in the
Yeah,
market?
I mean, he has run really well, hasn't he? But
Well, the reason why I'm saying this is because the first 3 favs had won, and everyone that believes in Sod's Law were like, oh my Lord, I've got massive prices anti-post about Rocket Rodney. You know what's going to happen, and he found 1-2. He could have run to Fankel figure and got beaten that day. Sod's Law, people will tell you.
Goes and breaks the track record.
Those that do look at those things will be thinking, well, I'm going to be very confident about one going in here. So there's obviously a lot of confidence behind this horse, isn't there? It's just, I don't know, we've taken a lot of time to see him on turf. What price is he now, Barry? We're going to see some evens about this on the exchange.
Yeah, he was evens a minute ago. He's a 197 now, so hovering around that mark there.
Okay, all right. So, slight opposition to him, isn't there, I think. I like Global Storm as a horse. Like I say, I think this could be the Ebor runner. He was a big price. He got lost in the race last year, but he was given quite a bit to do, I seem to remember. And I had a little bit on him for that after he chased home your beer last time out in a very good race at Newmarket. All right, 1 to go. Great to have us with you this afternoon. Betfair along the way, of course. Barry's been pointing you along the way. How many of you have been weighing in with him? Let us know. We'll be back tomorrow. We're on a bit earlier tomorrow, I think, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. First race is pretty
I
early,
I had a bit of a moan about that, didn't I?
yeah, what time are you live?
Probably about 12:45, I would imagine. I'm waiting for one of the producers to come in if they're awake
Out tonight?
and tell me. No, I was very late home last night.
Oh, of course you were, yeah. You need an early night tonight.
Delayed flight.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you coping with it? How are your energy levels
You
right
should be
now?
telling me that, Kate. Really.
I think you're doing very well.
What's your eating pattern like?
What's my eating pattern
Yeah.
like? Off the charts today.
Is it?
Yeah.
What'd you have for
absolutely.
lunch?
I don't know. I had a sandwich, I think. No more pasta this week. Let's just put it that
Nah.
way. Please, no
No
more.
more pizza.
And I went to an Italian wedding on Wednesday night, and they have 7 courses.
That is a result, isn't it?
Absolute
that's
madness.
great.
You would be all over.
I mean, were they like spaced out quite a lot?
They start with pasta as well, so you're like,
Oh.
mother of pearl. You know,
How big was the first portion of pasta?
Yeah, it was as big as you wanted. They were coming around asking if you wanted more.
Oh, for a first.
It was insane.
Superb, that.
But it was, listen, they know how to do it over there, and it was on the beach. It was absolutely amazing. But so I'm good. Yeah, you know me. I can do this. I've sort of like written the scripts on this, haven't I? So it'll be afterwards, though. I will be crashing. So no, I will not be.
Yeah, you're off Sunday, though, aren't you? So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a long way off still, Rob. But
Yeah, it's a
thanks
long
for
way
that.
off, yeah.
Thanks for that light on the horizon. Kate, you're going to be coming back raring tomorrow. Me and Barry, and Nat comes back in as well. She'll be nicely refreshed and ready to go. We're going to have some fun, that's for sure. And while it might not be the classiest of days,
No, but there's loads of betting. I mean, the consolation race tomorrow it's thin on the ground, but that is just wonderful British race planning because we have the Sprint Series final at Windsor on Monday for £25,000 more. So many of those who were balloted out of a Stewards Cup, instead of going for £25
What's that about?
less a race, they may as well go for that for an extra return. So more British race planning, that's seamless.
This race courses compete against each other as well, isn't it? Almost incidentally. You know, it's not. You can't blame Windsor for that. It's
No,
their, you know, it's their
they're putting
big,
up good
it's their
money.
big Monday night, isn't it?
Yeah, they're putting
Yeah.
up very good money. So, no, can't blame them at all. It's just the way that it's played out. Hence why we've got a thinner consolation race.
But 12 runners. I mean, a lot of people were screaming about the fact
Well,
there was alarm bells ringing in British
Easier to
racing.
solve, at least.
You found the winner, have you?
No, I'm just saying.
There's
less work to put in. 28 runners. It's just harder work, isn't it?
Well, the winner's easier to find anyway from that race.
It's a dreaded race at the Stewards Cup for a lot of professionals in racing. Bit of commentator, bit of jockey, bit of trainer, but close-up comment writers. It's a nightmare. It's worse than the Grand National. Do you know what I mean? At least you've got time to sort of have a look at it and all that. It's over so quickly, and you've got to write about all these runners.
That's the thing. I moan about small fields, but I moan about big fields as well. Ideally, I want every field to be between about 8 and 14 sort of runners.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Because they're going to give you the extra places now anyway,
I might get 4 places and there's not quite as much work to do.
Well, that's what they're trying to do now with the restructuring of British racing, aren't they? With the new sort of setup that they're outlining to present to the VHA, isn't it?
Has that been mentioned this week on the show? That's a question. I mean, that was sort of... I think I sent Nat the link earlier on when it broke. It was the Times, I think, that broke it, wasn't it, about Peter Saville coming back. We spoke to Ed Walker on a feature show we did this weekend. He was very vocal about it. Says it's the absolutely right thing.
So it's not less races.
Peter Saville kind of is thought to be the guy that might take it back to the old school, the former BHB boss. So I think the key was getting Ark in on the
racing board.
Was that before the BHA?
It was, before it reformed slightly. But too many cooks is thought to be the general idea, but trying to get rid of a cook from the kitchen.
Too many cooks at your do the other day.
Quite right. Absolutely. If only they'd have had 2 less. I've been maybe a bit sliced.
You're not the only one that's put on a bit of weight lately, mate. Put on 4 kilos in Mykonos.
Is that right?
What was that mainly?
Water.
And yeah, right.
I actually wasn't vegan that week. It's impossible. It's impossible. Nah, not really. I think I had some weird reaction to it because I just bloated up. I was eating a lot of cheese and eggs.
Oh, yeah, if your body's not used to it again.
Yeah, exactly. It was a real culture shock.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the scales when I got home.
You let yourself go for a week?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I wasn't exercising at all or anything like that.
Well, there you go. Barry, you love a bit of exercise, don't you? You always go on long walks during the day.
Yeah, I like taking my dog for a walk, yeah, I certainly do. I'll do a bit of swimming and that.
Endorphins,
nice,
you told me the other day. I actually phoned Barry the other day, and I could tell he was in a good place. You were out on your work, weren't you? And you were like, you were really chipper on the phone.
Yeah, when I'm out exercising like that, I like speaking to people on the phone because, you're in fresh air, you're around the mountains, the sea to one side, the hills of Wicklow on the other. It's just, you couldn't help be in good form. So I always find that's a good time to speak to people when I'm in good form. I'm not moody or
can't be that intense an exercise if you can have a phone conversation.
I've got a note on my phone saying ring Barry at 11.
Is it? In your calendar.
Absolutely. All right, one more to go then. Barry's with the Fav. He's bidding to make it 4 out of 3. Just chinned in the previous race, but he still made the frame. A lot of people would have backed that each way as well. Greatwood is the charity, of course, of choice in this merry month. We're going to need to find one shortly. I think it's just gone well for Greatwood, basically, thanks to Barry this week in particular. If you're having a great week, as I always say, show them the love. The link is out there. They're basically retraining a racehorse horses, Kate, isn't it? They get some stars out there, don't they? And they can do all sorts of different things.
It's great.
Jumping, all that sort of thing. They go and work them with kids, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. They do everything. And the horses that they manage to retrain, the bomb-proof, what they manage to do with them, it's sort of magic tricks. And I used to, when I was a little girl, I used to look at Greatwood and I used to get sort of their brochures through and things like this. I was a strange child. And but I used to kind of, and I used to love that. And I always wanted to go there to see them in person. They used to have some, I think, was Racing Demon one of their biggest flag bearers, I think, back in the day.
There's a name. There's another Racing Demon now, isn't there? There's one on the flat. That caused controversy. There's a 2-year-old running. Should he be allowed? The Peterborough winner.
A belly rumble there.
Is it?
Got me time to end soon, isn't it? I'm
Getting
starving.
back on your veganism. So listen, Greatwood is the charity of choice. Barry's been smashing it out of the park there. Will he do it in the final race with Rebel Romance? Now, I'm looking at him going down here, Barry. He's got one of those red hoods on. He's going to be a bit sweaty down there. And he's going
a
down
lot of Charlie Appleby's horses do wear those red hoods to the start. An awful lot of them.
Yeah.
Nature Strip did it. He can't do it in Australia. It's not a thing they have in Australia. And he, again, I'd know. And but they elected to do it at Ascot.
He was wearing overreach boots as well. I think he actually ran in those potentially, though.
He took advantage of all our allowances, if you like.
Yeah.
As a British jurisdiction, it's interesting because we would be the ones, if you like, certainly America, LASIK, blah, blah, blah. But we thought to be one of the lesser ones on that. But anyway, the Aussies did it. But I don't know, does it work? We're watching John Leaper go down.
Oh, yeah,
there.
John
He's
Leaper needs it the whole while. No, to be fair, actually, probably has needed because he used to wear the hood itself, didn't he, after he bombed out in the Derby after being too keen. And then I think he wore the hood then after then. And then they had that taken off because of he seemed so tripless, and now it's just a red hood to go down to the start. But yeah, I like the red hood going down to the start because I hate hoods in a race. I'm not a fan at all. But when you're dealing with the preliminaries and then you have the ability to take, because that's what you need a hood for in general, is just for the prelims really. Once you're in a race, 90% of horses are absolutely fine. And then in a finish, a horse needs the extra aid of a jockey's voice.
It looks like Regal Reality could do with a hood to wake him up. Never mind pacify him. He's being walked down to post. Now, we had a shocker in the first race, didn't we? It was So Far So Good being walked down to post and then got rid of his jockey after 2 furlongs. Please don't do that on Regal Reality. That would sum up my day so far. But the 7-year-old is being walked to post by Ryan Moore.
He goes and wins the last and then has to walk to the start of the
What do you think Ryan's
start.
saying to him on the way down? Do me a lemon, will you? Come on, get on with it. He fell out the stalls with me last time.
Yeah.
And he's having to walk him down, and the other's giving him a bit of stick there by the looks of it.
That's right, he's got 6 minutes.
You finally made it down to the start, and this will be risking your wrath, Kate, because although we've got 6 minutes.
We've got 6 minutes.
Oh, wouldn't this be ironic if they finally went off on time?
Yeah,
Rebel Romance is down at the start. He looks a bit better now he's down there, actually. He was a little bit erratic on his way down. Don't forget Godolphin have also got another 2 in this Global Storm, and Kamari as well. Now, we wondered whether he might go off at evens, Barry, but every time I look at it, he's just a shade under that.
He's 192 now, so the money's come from. He was even, so he's 10-9 on 7.2 Regal Reality, 9 Global Storm, and it's 11 bar, Dave.
Okay, all right. So looks like we're going to have an odds-on Fav in the final race that we cover here on Racing Post Live. No favourites winning today on Friday. Has it been a flop or fabulous for you? You've still got time to let us know. Let's hear some shouts from you out there. How's your afternoons been? How's your Goodwood been? Is it for you? I know a lot of racing professionals that really don't like this week. It's
a long week.
Why not? Why don't they like it?
Well, I think when you include Galway with it, and you've got to cover a lot of that as well.
I would. Nah,
me
not so much
personally.
that.
Yeah,
No,
what
I
do you
mean
prefer,
the track
Galway or
itself.
Glorious Goodwood then?
I'm a bit surprised. Not to call him out too much.
Right.
I was a little bit surprised that Keith stuck himself down eagerly to do the first day of Goodwood because he has not always been a fan of it. Let's put it that way.
Is that true?
Yeah. He thinks it's a bit of a
Maybe that was partly because...
interesting track.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's just a tricky punting week.
We've had drama today, haven't we? Of course, let's go through the winners. First of all, we had a jumps trainer winning the jumps race, if you like, the bumper.
Yeah, but we had a faller in it and Erin unseating it, so
we had everything in it, didn't we? Faller and unseat, loose horse, everything.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then Lavelle took that out with Sean Levy. Then we had the German knockout.
Yeah.
Yes, knockout then.
Probably the highlight of the day, that.
For me,
Best
yes.
performance,
that
you
should be
That's
over
what I
here.
mean. Yeah, listen, Kate,
Yeah,
you're
probably.
right. I'm going to hand this over
for
to you,
Barry
Kate,
and I,
actually.
Please.
just because I only had that. Thank you so much. Just because last Saturday I only had the one winner, but it was a very tricky week, so I managed to get to keep it then.
It was sort of a
last week
default.
for the week.
I'm
It was a
taking that off
default
you if
one.
Max Vega wins, though. All right.
Oh, so that's
Is
the
that- how
on
is
top
Max
selection
Vega
for
doing?
Well, it's
Robbie.
getting long because he's out for
further up.
36 now.
That's a
36.
massive price, and like I say, we have heard that he's
When
had
I looked
hold-ups.
at this, I thought he was valued at 12-1. So
We think the Roggiani, though, was probably the performance of the day. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
would be saying, hang on a minute, we had Orban winning the Golden Mile by how many lengths was it he won by? 3.5
I know that
lengths.
was very impressive. to
And
be fair.
Khaadem, of course, takes
Really
out the
holding on
group
to
too.
that.
But I think we can agree that Roggiani was a very good performance, the
Yes.
German winner. And it's good to see. All right, OK. I'm asking for some socials out there, but not a lot going on at the moment. We've had some deflating performances as well, haven't we?
this fella just saying been absolutely terrible.
Let's have a look. Oh, right. Luke Rawson comes on and says, don't worry, producers, I'll do the socials. Luke Rawson says, been absolutely terrible. Nedster says, small each way for me. And a win on Fancy Man. Yeah, I can see Fancy Man. Oh, there's a nice double going on with Devo as well, one of our regulars. G-Rod's mate, as I call him. He's got Orban and he's got Above in an each way double. Was that in this race?
No.
That must have been in the previous race, wasn't it? Oh, it's the Stewart's Cup, of course.
That's good to say, yeah.
I'll get me head
Good
around
luck
it
to the
before.
fella.
Is that Stuart Williams trained, isn't it, from memory, Above? Tell us more about that, Devo. We will listen to you. There's a few tech issues, I'm being told, with the socials. Yeah, that's their excuses out there.
Yeah.
All right, OK, well, I shall take the mantle.
50-1 for Above
Devo
tomorrow.
also says first-time hood is one of my favourite angles.
Ooh.
You'd disagree with that?
It depends. Andrew Boulding's horses have an awful record in a first-time hood.
How do you know that? From crunching the numbers or from
from
personal
Professor
punting?
Mount. From Professor Mount, of course.
Oh, yeah, Andrew Mount. All right, okay.
Hence why Alcohol-Free was not great on her reappearance start at Ascot.
Yes, that was weird, isn't it?
Hood.
And of course, a hood, if you don't know what we're talking about, is one of the least harsh, shall we say. It's a pacifying effect,
I don't like
isn't
them
it?
at all.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I really don't like them. Jockeys don't like them, because they can't use their voice as an extra aid. Because when you have a horse in a driving finish, you want everything at your disposal.
Including your vocal cords.
Yeah, including your voice. Where if anyone has ever stood on a rail in a finish then of any sort of race, you will hear screaming, screeching, all sorts, because it is sort of a Pavlovian response from a horse that when they hear a voice then from their back roaring them on in the finish, they know. Again, just like the Pro Cushion itself, it's an aid to get them over the line. A horse with a hood on obviously can't hear that. So you're taking away one of your aids. And jockeys have said that they tend to find horses can be pretty leery in a finish when they're wearing a hood, because they haven't got that extra 1% out of their horse and in a finish.
That's interesting, isn't it? You're right, people out there, aren't you? When you actually go to the track, you do hear a lot of shouts. It's one of the sort of added bonuses of going to the track, isn't it?
Yeah, you hear everything then, and there's an awful lot of chatter that goes on in
really
races that people don't realise.
If you go to an all-weather track on like a Tuesday night in the winter, you can hear so much.
On a quiet night,
sparse
then.
crowds on a quiet night. It's fascinating. You can hear them coming around the bend.
I used to try and talk to people when I was pointing, but it was mainly just fear.
It makes you think about point-to-pointing as well, that you can hear them all talking to each other. When you get that close down at the start. Absolutely favourite. That starts again, oh God, in the not too distant future. Of course,
hopefully some bigger runner fields and some more tracks actually going ahead this year.
Yes, and Devo says Paddy Brennan is the best in the final furlong. Grr, you're right. Oh yeah, man.
Oh gosh,
absolutely. If you ever get to see him in the final furlong, you know he's there.
He had a monstrous day at Worcester the other day. First 4 races.
Yes, I saw a bit of social media action there when he walked into the marquee.
Did you see that? Yeah.
That was good. He loves beating a short one to Tsar Paddy. Absolutely, yeah. And it won't be too long until the jumpers are back out to play. So, if you're enjoying the flat season, let us know. I've had enough of it. Is it, where are these clashes? Where are the great horses? But we do this, don't we? We're always down on ourselves a bit. We always look to dissect.
People want what they can't have, mate. So when the jumps were, I want the jumps, but then the jumps were all on the flat again.
Yeah.
People.
I'm loving it. I wish that the classic generation just had more, I don't know, solidity
Could still be
to
the
it.
filly, Kate.
We're still relying
songs.
on homeless songs, but it's just on both sides. For the fillies, at least we're getting to see the fillies more, but they're all beating each other. And then the colts, it's just sort of, we just need something extra from the 3-year-olds. But the rest of it's been great.
Has summed it up so far for a lot of people, I think. Kate's not had a filter today. It's been great. It's the influence of Wilders. We've got one more to go. Good luck if you're on Rebels Romance. Barry, just before they go off, now the money's down.
Yeah, 188 now, Dave. Really strong. Was 185 a second ago, and they've jumped.
Happy days. All right, let's see exactly where he sits in the run then. Blue cap, if you're looking for Rebel Romance. And, like he did for your beer last time, now this is interesting. Oh, my ticket on the E-balls looking good for Global Storm, I think, as well. And Kamari, now, he, once again, the pace-setting duties. So, sitting beautifully at the moment in around about 4th is the favourite. Not had a favourite yet. Behind Max Vegas in 2nd, just about 3rd now, as Fancy Man tries to go on and produce a little bit of pace pressure to the easy-going Kamari up front. Now, Ryan Moore not too worried about the stamina on Regal Reality. He's got him in 4th place. A nice sit there. Global Storm, very interesting for us that wants further out the back with John Leaper and the 10-year-old who loves this race, Desert Encounter. Rob, early impressions?
Yeah, I like where Max Vegas positioned here. I mean, he's already shortened quite a lot on the exchanges in play.
Yeah, okay. Is that the case, Barry?
Yeah, he actually had a bet for SP Rob at 22, would you believe? So money did come from it to finish. He's trading at 24 at the moment in running, but your favourite's hardening all the time. 1.80 now from 1.92, just as they jump. 7.6 Regal Reality, and it's 10 bar.
Yeah, they're going what I would call a tier up pace. In front, of course, is Kamari, who's been the hare a couple of times. Frankie Dettori, when Frankie's in front, as we always say, they're never going that quick, and it looks more like a jump race at the moment because the clock says 32 miles per hour.
Of course
Fancy Man, though, is trying to put on a bit of pressure. Now they're starting to get a bit more strung out, Kate.
Yes, no, they are. Frankie's trying to. He was looking between his legs there further back when he was really slowing up. I think probably just checking for where the stablemate was as well. He's now quickening it up. It scored a few of those further back, a little bit flat-footed. John Leeper was keen, and he's now off the bridle. And the favourite, who had also been keen, now ever so slightly caught flat-footed there, but he's come back on the bridle now.
I think Regal Reality is going to win this. So
Regal Reality is the. But will he get home? Ryan Moore at pains not to play him yet too late.
Go on, Maxi boy.
Okay, so we're coming up to 2 furlongs out. Ryan Moore, it looks like it's going to be trying.
Desert Encounters going
yeah,
quite
Desert
well.
Yeah, but he's so good in this race.
Yeah,
he is your pace play.
What will he find? That's the question. Global Storm, the stayer on the outside.
Come on, Rebels.
Regal Reality's
slowly going through the motions.
He's absolutely out on his feet. It looks like the Fad's going to take this, doesn't it?
He's getting there. He's taking his time.
That's his old rival. Desert Encounter had a bit of a blow. Now he's coming back. Global Storm wants further. John Leeper far too late in the day.
Back.
Nah, this is it. This is all over. Williams not going to let him pass there on the inside. The first favourite in the day and the last race on RP Live. You only had to wait till 4:10, Barry, to get it over the line.
Yeah, he's just grounded out, hasn't he? He's really just grounded out. That's all he does is stay by the looks of it. Obviously, Kamari, who he beat last day in Newmarket, he's only traded at a low of 4, so the market kind of was expecting him to go by Kamari. Well, Global Storm ran a decent enough race as well. In the red had a Godolphin, and Max Vegas ran well. Maybe you're right, Kate. Maybe that's just all about that one race, the Ebor, next month.
Yeah, I'd say we might have seen a couple of Ebor candidates there. Global Storm was what I mentioned. Personally, I'm interested in him. Regal Reality looked like he was the one to be with 3 furlongs out. He has not stayed at all. That expensive project is over. But the first favourite is there. The leading jockey of the week, William Buick, takes it out. And he's an interesting horse. He's come back. And again, we're always going to make excuses for a horse like this because he beats horses that have got something to prove. These races for the old horses over a mile 4, Rob, they always come with a few questions to answer, don't they?
Very much so. Wonder where he'll go on next, that winner.
He's in the Irish St. Ledger.
That. Is he?
Mile 6. He needs a trip, doesn't he?
I was thinking, is he going to step up? He hit a flat spot there,
didn't he? Too quick there.
To be fair, he was further back when they steadied up the pace, and then he has been caught flat-footed. I'd say so. That's what the sectionals will probably say, as we've seen time and time again over these middle-distance handicaps throughout the week of Goodwood, where they've gone a decent clip, well, a normal clip then up front. Then they steadied it up. It's turned into a bit of a sprint. Horses further back have been caught trying to make up ground in the worst part of that race, and then they've been able to just about prevail. We saw that with Nashua as well and such like. So, yeah, I'd say that he's done well with that, but he certainly was doing his best work at the finish. It was taking him a while to go through the gears. So, yeah, Irish St. Ledger is in. Yeah,
if you're on John Leeper, I know he's frustrating, but he's never really had a chance there. Desert Encounter's done okay to finish with where he is, but look where they are, the placed horses there. Kamari, I mean, Frankie's ridden a peach on Kamari. If you've backed him each way, that's down to Frankie that you got that. And yeah, it probably wasn't ideal, so the favourite could still have more to offer. The problem is, if you're a mile 4 horse, there's only one race of the season left, isn't there? And that's the Arc, so he's probably not up to that class, is he?
Certainly not, no.
It's
or he could have the Prix von Baden.
Oh, the Prix von Baden.
Yes.
That's actually a good shout. He'll probably will run there.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, they're not afraid to travel, are they, with these types of horses?
Could we be looking at Melbourne Cup then? Could we be looking at Breeders' Cup? I mean, this horse is 2 from 2 since he's come back.
They just seem to have so many 1.5 or something.
Yeah, it's the breeding, I think, isn't it?
Same kind of profile.
And these Dubawis, who they tend to have mainly of, they do improve with age. As indeed does Racing Post Live, as indeed does Glorious Goodwood Week. Day 4, done and dusted. Barry, nice and easy tonight. One more dance to dance tomorrow. Steward Cup time. On air earlier.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Tomorrow should be a good day. Stewart's Cup. Always love the Stewart's Cup. And yeah, we got a few quid today for the charity. We'll do the P&L tomorrow before the show, and we'll have a fair idea what we're sending retraining of racehorses on Monday.
All right, well, yeah, exactly, because July is nearly at an end. Unlike this week, as Barry said, we'll be back tomorrow. Loads of fun. Whatever you do, Barry, keep rubbing those rabbit feet or whatever overnight, because come back in the same form as what we want, basically. Kate, Tracey, you're back with me tomorrow?
Yep, can't wait for it. Yeah, the Betfair column, I submitted it last night. I uploaded it, so that's all good for tomorrow's racing, so hopefully a few winners then.
Love it. Nat Green comes back onto the show and joins us, sitting in that seat, Robbie Wilders, which you've kept nicely warm.
Kept it warm for her. Hopefully there's not too much earwax in my
nice.
Don't worry, we'll clean them out, mate. We'll clean them out. Good to have you back on, Rob. It's been a long day
good to be back, mate. Been a long day, been a long week.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. But we'll see you again soon, won't we?
Absolutely.
Top man. All right, great stuff. See you again soon. Thanks to the guy in the gallery. I've been Dave Orton. This has been Racing Post Live.